STL. It's 10:05. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
It's the Chris and Amy Show.
You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Now, Amy Marks Core's Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Good morning, friends. Wow, what a day. What a day. It is Wednesday.
Whoa.
September 18th. I believe it is National Burger Day. National Cheeseburger Day.
Cheeseburger Day.
Do you
Now
love a
you're
good
talking.
cheeseburger?
I love a good cheeseburger.
Man, do I love a good cheeseburger.
Me too. I make a good cheeseburger.
I believe you do.
I do.
I think you do a lot of things very well.
Well, thanks, Ryan.
You play the piano, the harpsichord, you make a cheeseburger.
I can make a cheeseburger.
John Hancock is in for Amy Marks Coors again today. I'm Chris Ranji. Good morning to you. Hope you're all doing very well. This is a great opportunity to use that voice messaging feature on the Odyssey app. Tell us what your favorite cheeseburger in town is. Why don't you do that? Tap that mic button and send it to us. Record your message, send it to us. You can talk to us about whatever you want, but if you've got a favorite cheeseburger here, you can tell us all about it on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, where we are also streaming live. Our podcasts are there. You can watch us if you want to. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are on YouTube. You can look at us. You can look at John Hancock.
Oh, boy.
You know what? You do that, you're always on television. You're always on TV, so what do you have a problem with this?
Well, nobody wants to look at me for 3 hours.
Come on, yes, they do.
My wife won't even look at me for 3 hours.
Well, she can just listen on the app then,
if
you want to. Odyssey app, of course, the phone number is 314-436-7900.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everybody will be talking about.
We are expecting the Fed to cut rates today for the first time in 4 years. Just how much? I guess we'll find out soon.
And the Senate votes down IVF protection bill for the second time.
Cardinals beat the Pirates 3-1 in what may have been Lance Lynn's final home start for the St. Louis Cardinals. How about that, John?
Yeah.
Lynn coming back to the Cardinals for the season. And it was nice to have him back in a uniform. And, you know, the season just didn't go well for the team. But
Right.
that may have been it for him at Busch.
Probably. You know, he's, 37 years old now. Fastball's lost a couple miles per hour. And he's primarily a fastball pitcher. Good pitcher, though. Bulldog pitcher. I've always liked him. You know, he's at the top of a bunch of lists of all-time Cardinals in pitching. He's I think he's in the top 5 or 6 in strikeouts. You wouldn't think that because he went away there for 4 or 5 years, at least 4 years. But when you think about the longevity of the Cardinal franchise, there haven't been that many truly great pitchers over the years. The one we traded away back in the 1971, Steve Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
He would. Can you imagine if you'd have had a staff in the 70s that included Bob Gibson and Steve Carlton? The Cardinals would have won some pennants with those two.
Yeah. Do you remember those years vividly?
Oh, yeah. Well, not the 60s so much, but certainly the 70s.
What year were you born?
64.
Okay.
So I started getting really into baseball when I was 6, 7 years old. Baseball cards.
That's about me too.
Yeah.
And I grew up, I got, like, I guess people who grew up in the 60s, I grew up in the 80s, which is that time, 5 years old, 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
7, when they're going to a World Series like every other year. They win one. So they win in 82.
Yep.
I was 5. So I don't really, I have vague memories of people talking about it and it being a big deal and Kool and the Gang, the Celebrate Good Times. Like,
Right.
I remember it vaguely, but a couple of years later, 3 years later, when they go back to the World Series in 85, I remember that one vividly. I remember 87 well. So, and even though they didn't win, it was, that's a perfect time to grow up a Cardinals fan. Just like if you were 8 or 9 years old when 2006 happened, and then 5 years later, 2011 happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Cardinals kind of go like that. The 40s were tremendous. The 60s, they won a couple of World Series and we're in 3, nothing in the 70s. And then you have the 80s, nothing in the 90s, and then the 2000s.
So wait till 2030.
Well, it's starting to look that way, isn't it?
We got John Rooney coming up on the show today.
Fun.
He's always with us on Wednesday mornings after 11:30. He will be with us today. Major Garrett is going to join the show momentarily. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Great Forest Park balloon race. It's this weekend.
I know.
I love that.
Oh, it's been away for a while, so it's nice to have it back.
So I hope the Golden Knights are coming back. I assume they are. The Army Golden Knights parachute team.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So we will talk about that and plenty of things coming up on the show. I know that there's a lot we're going to get into. We didn't really yesterday get into the abortion amendment and the polling for it.
Yeah.
We got to some of the other stuff. We got to what the Emerson polling said about Missouri's feelings on Josh Hawley and President Biden and former President Trump and, the usual stuff.
Right.
So a couple of measures that are going to be on the ballot in November, one of them being the sports betting bill. And right now it has 52% of the vote. There are a lot of undecideds. About 23% of people are not decided. The rest are a no on that sports betting bill. But one thing that we did not get to yesterday was the abortion measure, which had some legal challenges. And it was a couple of weeks ago in danger of being off the ballot entirely. But looking at the support for it right now, and the amendment says, or the question on the Emerson poll is, how would you vote on the ballot that would amend the Missouri Constitution to provide the right for reproductive freedom, defined as the right to make and carry out decisions about all matters relating to reproductive health care, so on and so forth. And the yes on this, I don't think I'm surprised that it has the highest percentage. Maybe the number is a little surprising. They are at 58% approval for the amendment, 30% no, and there are 12% of people who are unsure on it. Does that number seem about right to you at this point in mid-September?
I think that's where public opinion is. Now, I think this particular measure, if people really dug into it, I think you would have considerably more folks that would vote no. Because while it's clear that a majority of our population wants abortion to be available, there's a very strong majority that wants it to be rare. And so, there's a way to do this thing that gives people the ability to, abort their baby if they want to, for whatever reason. But there's a point in the pregnancy, and I think there's near universal agreement that there's a point somewhere in that pregnancy where the baby needs to be protected, and that there's an interest for society in protecting that child's life. And we're going to disagree wildly. Is that 12 weeks? Is that 30 weeks? Is it, but the better way to have that debate, I think, is to start from that premise that do you believe there's a point in which the child's right to life supersedes the mother's choice to abort? And then you still maintain the exceptions of rape and incest and the life of the mother, those instances. I think that's a better place to have the debate from a starting point, rather than the one side that says no abortion for any reason, you can't do it. Once the baby is conceived, that's it. You've got that's a very small percentage of the population. And it's a very small percentage of the population that says the child has no rights until it's born. That is truly the two fringes. The vast majority of people are somewhere in between there.
I think that we can all agree, or at least I hope we can all agree, that it should at least, at the bare minimum, it shouldn't be a problem for a woman who is suffering a major medical issue.
Sure.
To go into a hospital and say, we got to take care of this now, and not have the doctor be afraid of being punished in some way.
100%.
Like the woman in Idaho.
100%.
The woman in Idaho who, she's got now like permanent damage on the inside because they wouldn't treat her until it was so bad that they had no choice but to treat her. That's absurd. That's ridiculous that we allow that to happen. And that doctors are afraid to perform health-saving or life-saving procedures because they think they might go to jail. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's, I'm sure, easily fixable, but it's got to be fixed. And the problem is The doctor's got to have. Now, on the other hand, you don't want to give the doctor so much immunity from charges that if they botch an operation, you can't sue them. And that's something that the opponents of this Amendment 3 in Missouri say you're basically giving full immunity to these doctors. I've not looked into it enough to know if that allegation is accurate, but it's certainly being voiced by the opponents of Amendment 3.
Yeah, and that's something that you could probably, or will clearly needs to be ironed out. Because it's a separate issue than a doctor saying, hey, your health is at risk.
Exactly.
Here's what you need. I can't do it though, because I'm afraid of what could happen to me if I do. That is, it's asinine that we allow that.
Not to change the subject, but it's related. One of the consequences of taking all of these things to the ballot and putting them in the state constitution. So you put something in there. The marijuana thing was 80 pages when we passed that. Ridiculous. In the state constitution. And the problem is when there's a flaw or an unintended effect of the language that you put in there, you can't fix it easily through the legislature. It's got to be another constitutional amendment. You got to go back to the vote of the people. It would be so much better if our legislative branch could get together and figure out a policy and enact it so that if there's an unintended consequence, they can go back and fix it.
That's my guy, John Hancock. He's hanging out with me until 1 o'clock. In fact, beyond 1 o'clock with the Dave Glover Show. We got that crossover, We want to hear from you. The voice messaging feature on the Odyssey app is live. It is ready for you to use it. You should do that. John Hancock, Chris Ranji, KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey guys, it's Dave and Rachel from The Dave Glover Show.
So Smart Mouth is the only mouth rinse in the world that has a chemical reaction that makes sure that your bad breath is gone for 12 hours at a time, which means 24 hours a day, 0 bad breath.
Yeah, all you have to do is rinse twice and you are covered for 24 hours. That means you never have bad breath. Plus, there's a product to fit whatever your needs are. To learn more, go to their website, smartmouth.com/Glover. And while you're there, you can get a coupon for $2.50 off.
It's warm now, but winter will be here before you know it. That's why Banner Construction is having their pre-winter window event. Choose from Banner's various energy-efficient brands and window price points featuring beautiful Pella windows. Banner is a certified Pella contractor and preferred James Hardie specialist. If you've been considering new windows or a fresh new exterior for your home, see Banner's work at bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-520-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-520-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
Rich Orris hosts the KMOX Home Improvement Show, presented by Mosby Building Arts. Saturday at 11 on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Major Garrett will be with us after the 10:30 news, and there is a lot that has been happening, obviously politically. So we're going to talk to him about what's been going on in the last
crazy
several
times,
days.
man.
It really is. Usually we talk to him on Thursdays, but we are adjusting, and we've got him today instead. By the way, tomorrow, Bernie Miklasz is going to be sitting in with me from 10 until noon.
Fun.
So it's the two of us. My guess is sports might come up.
Yep, there's a good chance.
There might be some sports
Good
talk
chance.
tomorrow. So if you want to tune in, well, you should. What are you doing? You've got no reason not to. So yesterday we talked just a little bit, John, about the pager explosions in Lebanon.
Fascinating. Scary.
So I think by now most people have heard about what happened yesterday, that members of Hezbollah who use pagers for communication, they try not to use cell phones just because their belief was that cell phones could be tracked, which is true. And they thought that the least technologically advanced way of communicating, pagers, is better because you can't hack them. Well, apparently there's a thing that you can do, which is plant explosives in them. And the charge is that the Israeli government somehow intercepted these pagers manufactured in Taiwan, were able to implant explosives in something like the numbers have been adjusted. It's gone from like 2,800 to 4,000.
Wow.
So they believe that about 4,000 pagers were implanted with these explosive devices. Well, they all went off around the same time yesterday. At least 9 people were killed. Many, many people were injured. Well, today it's happened again. But now they are saying that it is walkie-talkies. So the radios, like that you would see a police officer, security, whatever use. Several hundred of those exploded today. And there's some video of it that I've watched where there's a funeral that's taking place, and there's a view of, a bunch of people, probably a couple of hundred people in the street around an ambulance, and they're gathering in the street, and then an explosion happens and everybody scatters and one guy falls to the ground. I've seen at least one of those today. But they've done it again. This story is absolutely wild. It's like spycraft stuff.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, clearly you can do it. They did it. But to implant a pager is a small little device. I would see, a walkie-talkie could do some damage, but a pager is a small little device. But to implant enough explosive power into that thing that it could kill somebody, that in and of itself is mind-boggling to me. And then secondly, how you could pull it off. You would have had to have done it either at the manufacturer Or, as you say, you would have to intercept a shipment, do all
that you knew was going to
Hezbollah, and do what you needed to do. And 4,000, doing that 4,000 times seems to me that would be.
And who knows what the exact number is,
right?
But I mean, you're
doing it 2,000 times. I mean, it would be incredibly time consuming. If I'm Hezbollah, I'm sitting around saying, where are those pagers we ordered last? But it's. The fact that something like that can be done and has now been done, that's pretty scary.
It's scary. It's so many different things. It's interesting. It's pretty incredible because that seems like an undertaking that is some really covert stuff.
Yeah.
That's really unreal.
Right.
There's also the element of, is there an ethics issue here? Because you don't know where people, if you've got a pager on you, you don't know where that person's going to be when it explodes. Could be like we've seen the security video of a guy who is in a produce section at a grocery store and it explodes. There are people just standing around him and they all scatter.
Mm-hmm.
So the reports yesterday were that about 2,800 people got hurt from what happened. And now the death toll is 12 on that. I mean, I'm not losing any sleep over dead Hezbollah members, but it's just the bystanders. I think that's kind of the ethical issue here, and also what happens next, because they have vowed that they're going to retaliate.
Right.
So I would be concerned if I'm Israel. What happens next? You're going to see a suicide bomber, probably, and it's not like that's not a way of life anyway. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're not used to it. But I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. It is still extremely fascinating because it's not a thing that I would have ever thought of. It really does feel like a movie thing. Yes.
Hollywood wouldn't have thought of
it's a movie
something like this. I would think it would be pretty hard to recruit a suicide bomber. You think about accepting applications over here at Hezbollah Inc. If you'd like to give your life for Allah, swing on by and fill out this paperwork.
John, here's the thing. To be a suicide bomber, you have to really, truly, absolutely believe in the afterlife.
Yeah.
You have to be confident that is a thing.
You do. You absolutely do. Yeah.
Because if you're not, then you would say, I'm not doing that.
Probably not. I mean, it's not a job I would put in for.
Hell no, I wouldn't want that. That's John Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji. Again, voice messages on the Odyssey app. Go ahead and leave them for us. When we come back, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News. He's going to join us on a Wednesday. Major Garrett is next.
Paid for by RFA cancellation. Are you feeling trapped by a timeshare you no longer want? You're not alone. Thousands of people are stuck paying for timeshares they hardly use. But here's the good news. There's a way out, and we're here to help. We specialize in legally canceling timeshares. With years of experience and a dedicated team, we've successfully helped countless clients just like you break free from those burdensome contracts. No more annual fees, no more maintenance costs, just freedom from your unwanted timeshare. Imagine what you could do with all that extra money and peace of mind. Whether it's traveling to places you really want to go, saving for a new home, or just enjoying life without that financial burden hanging over your head. We make it possible. And it's easier than you think. Call us today at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Our friendly experts will guide you through the process step by step, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. So call us now at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061 and take the first step toward freedom. Again, 800-866-7061. 800-866-7061.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews for Beast Plumbing. And when it comes to the quality of your water, it is so important, not just for the taste, but for when you wash your clothes or even your hair or your skin. And bad water can affect all of your appliances. Call them today at 314-500-LEAK. That's Beast Plumbing.
St. Louis City SC is turning up the heat at the club's free pre-match City Block Party, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, all before kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Come out to Lou Fuse Plaza, located steps from City Park, for live music from Tef Poe, Strings EMB, Darkwood, and others. Get special rivalry match merchandise and enjoy local food and drinks, games, giveaways, and so much more. For all the details, visit stlcitysc.com. We've got the sauce. Pour it on, St. Louis.
Now at pedalthecause.org, register for our 15th anniversary event. Coming this September 21st and 22nd, because the more we ride, the more we raise. The more we raise, the more we research. The more we research, the more we all ring. Together, we will create a world without cancer. Learn more at pedalthecause.org.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 10:30, sun and 77 downtown at the Arch. The Federal Reserve makes its decision today on interest rates, says CBS's Jolene Kent.
It's widely expected to be either a quarter point, which would be a standard reduction, or a half point, which would be a jumbo cut. And the market is increasingly predicting that for today.
The Cardinals have taken the first two games of their series against the Pirates, winning yesterday 3-1. Lance Lynn, in what might be his final start with the Cardinals, went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks as he picks up his 7th win of the season. Ryan Helsley gets the save. It is his 45th. The Cardinals get a home run off the bat of Jordan Walker, his 4th of the year. Game 3 of the 4-game series coming up tonight at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals will send Sonny Gray to the mound. First pitch at 6:45. Our coverage begins at 5:50. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
We've got road work on 70 going west to 270. The left lane and shoulder are closed. Weather is sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. This afternoon's high 91. For tonight, clear sky, low 65. For tomorrow, plenty of sunshine with a high of 92. And for Friday's high 93. Right now, sun 77 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
It's not just about watching the game, it's about betting on it. I'm Mike Valeni, and on Cash the Ticket, Jim Costa and I break down every college football and NFL matchup like it's the last game we're ever going to watch. From the best bets to the sneaky underdogs, and of course, as my co-host likes to say, the value. And the one thing we're not going to do is pretend we're professionals. We have fun with it. It's an entertainment product, and it makes watching games a hell of a lot of fun. So Cash the Ticket, follow it in the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Brian.
Yes, Sarah?
What is the point of making junk disappear?
We make space for possibility.
Oh, that's huge.
Why do people want junk to disappear?
To make space for possibility.
And who gives them this new space?
We do.
And how do we do it?
We make junk disappear.
And what does a person need to do to make all this happen?
All you have to do is point.
We make space for possibility.
We make space for possibility.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Well, if you have noticed that there are a couple more spiders in your house, you know how there's a spider in the kitchen, there's one in the bathroom, or maybe you've noticed rodents like a mouse or signs of a mouse, which I hate that, right? They leave their mark in like the utensil drawer on the kitchen counters. It's disgusting. Well, it's that time of year. This is what happens when the weather starts to change. Rodents, they will find a crack or a crevice to get into your house to find a place to eat and stay warm for the winter. The same thing with spiders or roaches or crickets and silverfish. They start to make your way inside your home as temperatures cool down. They're looking for food. They're looking for a warm place to spend the winter. Don't let them make your home their winter home. You need to call Rottler. That's what we did. We have Rottler's full protection. It was mosquitoes in the summer. They took care of the mosquitoes so we could sit outside on the deck, not get bitten. That was awesome. And now we've got them to keep mice out of the house and to keep spiders out of the house. You need to give them a call at 877-ROTTLER, 877-ROTTLER, or visit them at rottler.com.
Hi, this is Paul Goldschmidt, and it's game day.
It's the Cards and Pirates tonight. Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Let's play ball.
On your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris and Amy show on KMOX today featuring John Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji, and it's time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line. Usually we do this on Thursdays, but we've adjusted this week. We've got Major Garrett, who is the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, also has a book, The Big Truth, Upholding Democracy in the Age of the Big Lie, and 2 very good podcasts, Agent of Betrayal and The Takeout, and Major is with us on a Wednesday morning. Good morning, Major.
Good morning, everyone.
So immigrants and pets and cats and eating of the pets and the cats and the dogs. That has really kind of been one of the major talking points for the last several days. And then you have what is an attempted assassination. I guess you could call it that, even though the shooter didn't really take a shot. So you've had this happen now following all of this rhetoric. And there's talk about rhetoric, a lot of it over the last few days. As you look at it from 10,000 feet, what are your thoughts on everything that's transpired in the last several days?
Well, the events at Trump International Sunday, West Palm Beach County, are serious. They're a serious law enforcement event. They're a serious threat to not only the former president, but those who were playing golf with him. And that's a very serious matter. And it's being investigated by the FBI and, as we have learned from the governor of Florida, a separate state investigation. Not exactly sure what the state investigation is going to achieve that the FBI and the Secret Service can achieve. But Governor Ron DeSantis has decided to insert some skepticism about what the Secret Service and the FBI might learn about this. So there'll be a separate investigation. It's a serious law enforcement event. In this case, the suspect is in custody. And over time, we may learn, not assume, not assert, but learn what motive, if any, led him to be where he was and put the former president in some manner of peril. As has already been established, the shooter or attempted shooter did not have a line of sight, did not fire off a round, and the Secret Service did its job to minimize that threat. That's a huge event. It's a huge event at any time in a presidential campaign. It is a bigger event this close to the election. It is an even bigger event coming off what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and you would think
we still don't know the motives of the Butler, Pennsylvania shooter, and we may never know the full motives because he's been killed. He was killed in the episode at Butler, Pennsylvania. We may learn, but there's a lot of assumptions about what the motives are. We don't know what the motives are, and until we do, I would advise everyone to just take a breath. But this is not an atmosphere in which this country takes a breath, which brings me to the rhetoric thing. The rhetoric thing is very simple. Anyone who wants to catalog Trump rhetoric can say that is insightful. Anyone who wants to catalog Harris or Biden rhetoric can say they think that's insightful. What I do know is the rhetoric has been moving in one direction and one direction only for the last 8 years. It's become more combative, more combustible, and more incendiary. And rhetoric of that kind begets rhetoric to match it or exceed it. And that's the road we've been on for at least 8 years.
And here we sit. We'd gone through some period where we hadn't seen, at least publicly, assassination attempts on political leaders in this country. And, I think there's a sense in which if you're a Secret Service agent and you've done 2,000 events without incident, the guard may not be as sharp as it should be. Well, that's no longer going to be the case. And is there a concern among law enforcement, the FBI, that just the fact that these events have happened, that they could very well trigger others just because it's in the news and it's kind of the thing now?
So I would counter your first observation ever so slightly. Having covered every president in this country since Bill Clinton, having traveled the country and the world, and interacting with Secret Service agents who do this work, it doesn't matter how many events they do. They never assume that today is going to be easy, ever. And the question for the Secret Service is not, could today be an assassination attempt? That is baked into their expectations every single day, every movement of the president, no matter how quote unquote mundane or any protectee. The one thing I think is worth evaluating and scrutinizing is how many agents are there? How many hours are they working? 80, 90, 100 hours a week? And what is their capability, their human capability, to maintain that level of maximum diligence? That is the issue. I don't think they assume anything is going to be easier one assignment to the next, especially in presidential protective actions. But their capability to maintain maximum vigilance, I think, is affected by working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks, which the Secret Service has made clear its agents are now having to do. And Congress is now debating how rapidly it can increase that budget, how rapidly it can train more agents, and so on. that is a super important part of this conversation. How capable are they to maintain that maximum level of vigilance? And your second question was?
Do these things, the very
Right.
nature,
Yeah.
the
So,
fact that they
yes,
happened?
right. Can there be copycats? So on our streaming political show, America Decides, on Monday, I asked former Deputy Director of the Secret Service, A.T. Smith, that very question. He said, "Oh yeah, that's my biggest concern. That's always the Secret Service's biggest concern. When something like this happens, it can create a psychological space for others to feel like, well, if that didn't work, I should try it, or, well, someone else has tried it." There's a sort of unusual permission space that it generates. We have some experience, for those of us old enough to remember, I do, September 1975, 2 attempted assassinations of President Ford in the same state, California, Sacramento and San Francisco, separated by 17 days. In retrospect, neither of those would-be assassins had anything personally against Gerald Ford or ideologically against him. One was sort of an ultra-environmentalist, wanted to save the trees. The other one just wanted to foment revolution in America and thought the presidency was the greatest symbol of attacking the government and creating a revolutionary spirit. So again, this goes back to my original observation. We need to be careful about assessing instantaneous motives in the moment for anyone who puts themselves in this position, because sometimes they're not immediately clear, even to the would-be assassin himself or herself.
And so that's, and I guess we're kind of going back to the rhetoric thing here, because the blame has been squarely placed on the Democratic Party, Kamala Harris, for the things they've said, and that's what J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and people on the right have done, is they've said, this has happened to me because of them. And the fact that the attempts even happened to me and not to her is evidence that it is because of their rhetoric. Do you think that narrative is taking hold and working?
It may take hold. That's going to be up for the American public to decide. I would only say that there is a political imperative for former President Trump and J.D. Vance to reset the narrative of this race, especially after the debate and the polling that has occurred since then. I'm not saying the race is slipping away from former President Trump, but he's not holding serve. He's losing ground, maybe just bit by bit, but there's no place on the map where he's gaining ground. So politically, they have to try to nullify some of the rhetoric that has been harshly critical of him and having a political effect. Now, we can have a nice broad debate in this country about who is or isn't a threat to democracy. The Trump campaign and former President Trump has made a lot of hay all year long about, if you're trying to prosecute me, that's election interference. You're the threat to democracy. The country will sort that out. It's been in front of the country all year long. Plenty of Democrats say, well, if you give a speech that incites a riot that stops the certification or attempts to stop the certification of a legal and verified presidential election, you might be a threat to democracy. Again, the country's going to have that debate. All of that is right in front of everyone. And the rhetoric around it doesn't obscure the very facts of either the prosecution or the January 6th riot. But the Trump and Vance campaign need to try to get Democrats back on their heels, rhetorically and otherwise. And that's one of the things they're doing in this space right now, because it is imperative for them to change the arc of the conversation and, more importantly, the momentum of this race.
Yeah, and toward that end, this is looking increasingly, at least to me, like it's going to be a turnout election. I think the persuadable universe, if it exists, is going to be infinitesimally small at this point. So you're looking at a turnout election. The one thing the Democrats have accomplished by replacing Biden is that they've raised the excitement level among their base vote. Does it appear that one side or the other has an edge right now in voter intensity?
Our polling indicates that Democrats are now more enthusiastic, engaged, and excited about the prospect of participating in this election than Trump supporters. Trump supporters are still very excited, very engaged, but not as much as Democrats. And that is the biggest psychic shift in the last 2 months. All year long, Democratic enthusiasm, engagement, excitement, trailing Trump voter engagement, excitement, enthusiasm. That is no longer the case. But both are very, very high, 85% or above. The interesting thing for Democrats is they're in the mid-90s, so they seem to be very excited and energized. The Trump supporters do as well, but Democrats have overtaken them very recently, and that's a big psychic shift. The other thing I would point out is in a lot of these closely contested states, registration numbers have also been increasing. So people who maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, even 4 weeks ago, were not registered to participate in this election now are. And one thing we know statistically, if you registered late, the next election that's right in front of you, the one you are registering to participate in, your probability of casting a ballot in that election is above 85%. That's really important. So people are getting involved late, and they're in all likelihood going to vote. Here's the other important thing about that. These newly registered voters are not going to show up in anyone's polls. They're just not. They're not going to be in the likely voter models because likely voter models are based on people who voted in previous elections. They're not going to be there. They may, in very small numbers, appear in registered voter screens, but not till very late in the process. So this is going to be a largely unseen force in the election. And we're not talking about 2,000 or 3,000. In some of these closely contested states, we're talking about 60, 80, 100, 200, 300,000 newly registered voters. That's an X factor.
Major, what are the implications of the IVF bill that was blocked yesterday on a 51-44 vote? It needed 60 votes to pass. Both Missouri senators voted against it. Both Illinois senators voted in favor of it. It is actually Duckworth's bill. So what are the implications of it now?
It keeps alive an issue that Republicans would like to see put on the shelf. Does the federal government need to be involved in creating a legal structure for in vitro fertilization? Yes or no? That was sort of the broad brush question. But the even broader brush question is, which party is aligned on this question of reproductive freedom in all its various forms? Democrats believe and are building ads around that topic is very advantageous to them and to their candidates. We don't know how advantageous. What we do know is we are going to participate in a presidential election, the first of its kind, the first presidential election. We've had midterm elections, we've had some referenda elections, some special elections, but not a presidential since the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And if you also want to think about an X factor, that is one of the biggest, if not most important X factors in this election. How big will that issue and the identification with that issue, as decided by voters across all these states, will be? Democrats believe it is a net winner, possibly of a value of 2 or 3 or 4 percentage points. If it's a closely contested state, 2 or 3 or 4 percentage points could make all the difference in the world. We won't know until we see it, and you can't predict anything until you have seen something. And because we haven't seen it, we don't know. But it is a significant variable in this coming election.
We've got a text message that says Major's interview with Anthony Scaramucci on The Takeout was one of the best interviews I've heard. Who's on The Takeout this week?
So I was recently in Atlanta, and by the way, thank you very much, Texter, for that. I appreciate you listening and enjoying the interview. I was in Atlanta recently. There was a convening of election administration officials, secretaries of state, county officials, city officials from across the country, and they were sort of going through the kind of things that they're preparing for, working through, and imagining heading to this election. So I sat down with 4 of them, 3 Democrats, 1 Republican. 3 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Let me get that right. 3 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. Important, closely contested states. All are my conversation with them about their whole range of issues in their states and nationally. That's on The Takeout this week.
Major Garrett, talk to you next week.
Thank you.
The chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, Major Garrett. That podcast is called The Takeout. Also, he has The Agent of Betrayal. You can listen to both of them on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. The Odyssey app's where you can listen to this show live and our podcast as well. It's John Hancock and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Do you love your house and hate the thought of assisted living? Whether you're caring for a loved one in your home right now or planning to live independently in the years ahead, call 3 Day Kitchen and Bath. They can completely remodel your old bathroom in just 3 days and back up their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. If all you need is a new walk-in tub or easy entry shower to make your life easier, they could do just that for you. Avoid the hassle and stress of remodeling. Check them out on the web at 3daykitchen.com or call 3 Day Kitchen and Bath for your free design consultation today. 3 Day Kitchen and Bath. It's about time.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3 Day Kitchen and Bath.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Can't make it to Kansas City for the big game? No problem. Experience every Kansas City Chiefs game, like you're in the front row at Valley Sports Live in Ballpark Village. Join fellow Chief fans on game day and feel the roar of the crowd right here in St. Louis for the Chiefs. Chiefs Watch Parties, presented by Jim Beam. Don't miss a moment of the action. Head to KMOX.com/events to reserve your table now and cheer the Chiefs to victory.
Paid for by RFA cancellation. Are you feeling trapped by a timeshare you no longer want? You're not alone. Thousands of people are stuck paying for timeshares they hardly use. But here's the good news. There's a way out, and we're here to help. We specialize in legally canceling timeshares. With years of experience and a dedicated team, we've successfully helped countless clients just like you break free from those burdensome contracts. No more annual fees, no more maintenance costs, just freedom from your unwanted timeshare. Imagine what you could do with all that extra money and peace of mind. Whether it's traveling to places you really want to go, saving for a new home, or just enjoying life without that financial burden hanging over your head. We make it possible, and it's easier than you think. Call us today at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Our friendly experts will guide you through the process step by step, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. So call us now at 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061, and take the first step toward freedom. Again, 800-866-7061. 800-866-7061.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan with a quick reminder. Schedule that annual eye exam. Routine eye exams not only diagnose vision changes, but can detect systemic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, thyroid disease, to name just a few. Do what I do. Call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000. The doctors there, Greg Birdie, Ranj Malhotra, Samuel Berry, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, will provide you with the area's most comprehensive eye exam. These doctors can also help with dry eye disease, the result of staring at screens, flying in airplanes, or living in a dry environment. Dry eye sounds harmless, but it can cause inflammation, blurred vision, and damage to the eye surface that's sometimes difficult to reverse. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates are expert in diagnosis and treatment of dry eye disease. 314-966-5000, yourEyeDoc.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Save money on your next oil change with O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a $10 gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $35.95. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that. Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
John, are you a coffee drinker?
I do. 1 cup.
I got great news for you.
Oh, good.
A new story or a new study out of Suzhou University in China has determined that moderate amounts of caffeine intake, which could be about 3 cups of coffee or tea per day, are associated with a lower risk of developing cardiometabolic multimorbidity.
Well,
So
nobody wants that.
You don't want that.
No, that's something you want to try and avoid, the cardiometabolic stuff that people get sometimes.
Cardiometabolic multimorbidity.
Yeah.
And what that is the coexistence of at least 2 cardiometabolic diseases like stroke,
Yeah.
type 2 diabetes,
Yeah.
and coronary heart disease.
Wow.
So
that's the trifecta right there. You pretty much ought to cash in the chips at that point.
3 cups of coffee a day, according to this study.
Keeps the doctor away.
Yeah. It lowers your risk of developing these things. In fact, they say that there's a 48% reduction if they had 3 cups, 41% if they drank 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine daily. So I guess this study is telling us just drink as much coffee as possible.
Who paid for that study?
I don't know.
Soldiers, perhaps?
It came out of China.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. All right. You got to take that with a grain of...
No, they're good. What are you talking about? There are good researchers in China.
I guess.
Hey, did you see that Adrian Wojnarowski? You know who that is?
Adrian.
Adrian
That was from the Rocky movies.
Nope, different person.
No.
Adrian Wojnarowski, who has long been considered the premier NBA reporter, breaking news guy.
Is that a relative of Pajeski's over here?
No, come on. For example, you've heard of Jeff Passan.
Jeff Passan, yes, I have.
The Woj is the Jeff Passan equivalent
of basketball.
Yes, he's
Okay.
Jeff
All right.
Passan. of
I'm
basketball.
tracking with you now, Ron.
Well, Adrian Wojnarowski today announced he is retiring from covering the NBA.
How old is the Wojnarowski?
He's got to be in his 50s.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that old.
55.
55, and he's cashing it in, huh?
Yeah, he's done.
It must have been a good gig for him.
Well, it was a great gig for him.
Who pays the guy?
ESPN.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
they probably pushing him out the door. They're trying to cut costs over there.
Well, why would you cut costs with him?
Adrian
He's
Wojnarowski.
He's the Jeff Passan, the Adam Schefter. You've heard of these guys?
Yeah.
He's the equivalent of that.
I've never heard of Wojnarowski.
Okay.
You come up with this stuff I've never heard of. Every single day I'm in here, Ron, you find something that I've never heard of.
Well, the segment is called Did You See This? And I know that you haven't.
I haven't seen it. No, I didn't see it.
That's Sean Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji. The Soldiers Memorial right here downtown St. Louis has announced a Ghost Army exhibition, and it is a World War II thing that we're going to talk about when we come back. We're going to have somebody from the Soldiers Memorial. Really looking forward to this cool conversation next on KMOX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At 11 o'clock, we've got sun. It is 80 downtown at the Arch. 2 Metro East high schools are sheltering in place after threats of violence today.
Live on the scene.
Let's go to KMOX's Sean Malone at one of them with the latest. Sean.
And Michael, we'll start with Cahokia High School. They're sheltering in place after what parents were told was a, quote, potential threat circulating on social media that may impact the safety of our school community. According to that was a text sent to parents by the school district. They're releasing students as well. They're allowing parents to come pick up their students, which many of them are doing at this time. Meanwhile, I had a chance to speak with one of the students, Shyla White at Cahokia High School, who says this is just commonplace these days for them.
We get these threats like every year. It's nothing new. I just go home every time just in case it is true. This one blew up more than the last few did. I didn't expect it to blow up like this.
Meanwhile, over at East St. Louis High School, they're dealing with a similar situation. Few details have been provided on this instance from law enforcement, but they're in what's called a quote-unquote soft lockdown, and students are also being allowed to be picked up by parents as well. And at both high schools, parents have been regularly coming by to pick up their students and take them home. Outside of East St. Louis High School, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Hezbollah officials and Lebanon state media say explosions went off in Beirut and multiple parts of Lebanon in an apparent second wave of detonations of electronic devices. The officials and state media said that walkie-talkies and even solar equipment detonated a day after hundreds of pagers blew up. Lebanon's health ministry said at least 9 people were killed and 300 wounded. Associated Press journalists at the scene said several blasts were heard at the funeral in Beirut for Hezbollah members and a child killed by exploding pagers the day before. The Evolution Music Festival in Forest Park is back. Last year, the Forest Park event drew over 25,000 people. Longtime concert promoter Steve Shankman.
I'm just glad to see Evolution's having a second year, and it's only a week from this Saturday.
Billy Idol and Beck are the headliners Saturday and the Killers on Sunday. The KMOX Business Desk, some familiar toys are being considered for a place in history.
A dozen finalists are being considered for the National Toy Hall of Fame in Rochester, New York. On the list, balloons, the trampoline, Transformers
like you've never seen before,
and Hess toy trucks. After a vote, there will be an induction ceremony in November. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
The Dow from Stifel down 93 points to 41,512. We've got emergency vehicles on 141 going south at 21. The left lane is closed, a lane getting by. Stalled vehicle 70 east at 79. The right shoulder is closed, but all the traffic lanes are open.
Sunny to partly cloudy and hot this afternoon with a high of 91. Mainly clear, mild tonight, though about 65. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and hot with a high of 92. Friday, partly sunny, very hot and more humid, high 93. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. We've got sunshine. It's 80 in Florissant and St. Peters. Also 80 downtown at the Arch. The feels like is 85. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Call Jerry Kelly at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. and we'll get there fast. There's a reason Jerry Kelly has been your neighbor's favorite heating and cooling company for nearly 2 decades.
JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Diverse opinions, mutual respect. That's the politics you'll find at KMOX. Your connection to St. Louis and the region.
John Hancock is filling in for Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji.
Finally playing my music around
This is your stuff,
Yeah.
John.
Wow, this is a lot better than that Pearlhead stuff you had the other day.
What the? I'm sorry to derail this, but John already started it. We have a guest in studio.
Yeah, we do.
Who is just beside himself. He's like, I'm here to talk about something good.
We'll get back to this.
Yeah, but he listen. This man the other day talk about Eddie Vedder, and I'm like, do you know who that is? He's like, hey, he's in that band, the Pearl Jammers. Guys, 105 years old. There is a new exhibit at the Soldiers Memorial right downtown St. Louis, just a block, not even a block. It's right across the street from where we are.
This looks so cool.
Here at KMOX. And with us today, the director of the Soldiers Memorial is Mark Sunlove, who is with us. And Mark, first of all, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
You had a long travel.
Yeah.
It's been, I know, it's been difficult to get down here. So tell us about this Ghost Army exhibit, which is a World War II era thing, and it sounds very, very cool.
Yeah, I think this is the coolest story of World War II that you've never heard, and I think it's a fascinating story. It was classified, from the end of World War II, 1945, all the way up until 1996. So that's the reason that very few people know this story. Basically, the Ghost Army was a small unit, about 1,000 men. And it was a multimedia traveling deception roadshow, basically meant to confuse and deceive the Germans as to understanding where our actual fighting forces were as we moved across France following D-Day. Yeah, it's an amazing story.
Whose brainchild was this?
I think there's some debate about that, but I think it's basically like a lot of things. I think there's a lot of folks involved, and of course, it doesn't get established until very late. It's not until December of 43 that they think this might be a good idea, and then it doesn't reach Europe until the Ghost Army goes in kind of on the heels of the fighting forces right after D-Day, and they begin their operations at that point. Prior to that, they were doing some training and some prep work both in New York State and in Tennessee. But the thing with these guys is there was no manual. There was no textbook. There was no, this is how you do this. This is what you're supposed to do and how you do it successfully. So they were learning, kind of making it up, extremely creative people, trying to figure out the best ways to deceive the German forces.
So what sort of things would they do? Like, for example, I know they had the inflatable tanks and stuff like that, but what else did they do?
Yeah, I think the inflatable tanks is probably the most well-known aspect of this, but really it's kind of a four-pronged work of deception. The tanks are what they would call part of the visual deception. And that is, if you're flying a German aerial reconnaissance plane and you're looking down, they're real enough looking to convince you that those are real U.S. tanks. But they also use sonic deception, and this one I find really intriguing and interesting. They had recorded sounds of whether it was tanks or jeeps, just men kind of moving into position, and then they layered that, and they were using some pretty cutting edge technology at the time. They were some of the first use of multi-track recording, actually, because you imagine as a unit moves into position, not only do you have the tanks, but you also have the jeeps. You got some men shouting. So they would record these things and then layer them, and then record those on what we would kind of think of as a vinyl, LP, and then transfer those to a wire recording device, kind of the predecessor of the cassette tape. And then they would take these and they were playing them off of the back of half-track vehicles. Kind of looks like a mix between a tank and a truck. They had 500-pound speakers mounted on the back of these trucks, and they would play them and confuse the Germans. The Germans thought it was real tanks moving into line or real units moving up, and they used that level of deception and lots of stuff. But really, really cool. And then they also did radio spoofing, so making false or fake radio calls because they knew the Germans were listening in on that. And then they used what they called special effects, which were really the attention to detail type stuff, like wearing the correct unit patches if they were going into a small French town or something of that nature.
So how effective was this?
It was very effective. And I think probably the single biggest operation that they that points to really their success was called Operation Bettenberg, and this was as the U.S. forces had kind of reached the German border. Patton had a very large hole in his lines, about 70 miles. Germans could have easily punched through that line if they had known it was there, but they put the Ghost Army in that position and convinced the German forces that the 6th Armored Division was located there. And so they never attacked. They just sat back and they held that line in that way.
What all got declassified? Were there after action reports, detailed descriptions of the operations? What do you have access to that the public can see?
Yeah, I think in the exhibit you'll see a lot of the operational maps. They did a unit history after the war, and it's writing down, where they went and what they did and explaining their different operations. They conducted 22 unique operations. And by operations, it was usually like a 2 to 5 day event where they were trying to, it was theater, essentially. They were trying to convince the Germans that they were seeing what they wanted them to think they were seeing. But those operations are all now declassified and are available, and understanding those as well.
So what is a more modern iteration of something like this? What did the Ghost Army lead to?
That's a great question. Certainly, I think what modern military would refer to as psyops, or psychological operations, and these are different techniques or advice which are probably classified that are used nowadays to basically you're trying to get into somebody's head, right, and you're trying to make them think something that's not real.
Strictly used against Germany?
Yeah, no, there was one unit, the 3133rd, that used sonic deception in Italy right at the end of the war. And they pulled off a couple of operations, but weren't nearly as extensive or in depth as the European forces. Yeah.
So the exhibit opens on the 25th. So
next week?
A week from today, it opens, and it runs through the middle of January. So you're going to have a little bit of time to go. But when people come to see the Ghost Army exhibit, what exactly will they get to see?
A couple of the inflatables, not the originals. We don't know. We don't believe that there are any existing original inflatables, but the exhibit comes to us from the World War II Museum in New Orleans, and
I've been there.
Yep,
Yeah,
I've been there.
Excellent museum,
cool.
and they created a couple of reproductions, so those are on display. There's also a lot of artwork in the exhibit, and this is a really kind of a cool feature of the guys that were serving in the Ghost Army. A lot of them were artists, and they were, before the Ghost Army, especially those who were into the visual deception, they were working in the Army prior to that, or serving in the Army prior to that as camouflage experts. And so they had to bring in people who knew how to work with paint and how to make things look proper, right, or camouflage. So when they created the Ghost Army, one of those engineering units got pulled into the Ghost Army, one of those camouflage units. Those got institute in New York City, very successful and skilled artists who were employed. So a lot of that work, a lot of the work that they did while they were in the field is there on exhibit. And I just find that fascinating. There's, they were sketching things that they saw, experiences that they lived through. They're sketching themselves, each other, people that they met. They were doing watercolors. One guy had taken a German hand grenade case, kind of like a small metal suitcase, and turned it into his traveling watercolor kit, which he was carrying around Europe with him. So when they had time, which, that's the thing about the Army, is you think about the fighting and all that, but there's also a lot of downtime, right? And so they would bust out their sketchbooks and their watercolors and get to work over there.
A little over 1,000 people participated in this. Do we know? Are there any survivors?
There are, I think, a handful that have still survived. We do have a great local connection. Actually, our conservator of our artifacts at Soldiers Memorial, her name is Alice Pederakis. Her father was Edward Boschia, and Edward was the dean of the School of Fine Arts at Washington University for 30 years. So his artwork is all over the city. It's in the Kemper, it's at the Art Museum, and she loaned us a few of his sketches. We'll have that out. He has passed, unfortunately, but But Alice will be with us next week on the premiere opening and talking a little bit about her father and those experiences.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you've got all of these displays. You have an interactive display, a touchscreen thing. But and I know that some of this stuff, kids aren't always interested. Maybe they get bored. But you have some child-friendly things that people can participate in.
Yeah, I think kids are going to love this exhibit. There's a certain element of, I don't know what I haven't found the right word yet. It's like intrigue. It's kind of fun in some ways.
Like a spy, like a spy novel.
Yeah.
As a kid, I would love this.
I would.
I would love this
yeah,
stuff.
like the inflatable tanks. Kids are just gonna like, whoa, that's cool. And I think the kids will connect with the artwork, and I think for people to see that very different kind of entry to military service from artists and these creative folks, which people don't always think about when they think about the military.
Yeah.
But I think it creates some new openings for kids and for families. Yeah.
Sound engineers, PJ, you could join the Army there, pal. How about that?
Well, how about Tyler? Tyler's leaving us. He could go over to the Soldiers
There's
Memorial.
a job for Tyler.
Hey, that guy right back there behind you, Mark, he needs a job.
Yeah.
So you can talk to him. So the exhibit, again, it starts next week. It runs through the middle of January. I have not ever been to the Soldiers Memorial myself. What else can people never? So now I have to.
Well, yeah, it's across the street.
I know it's across the street.
You've never been in there?
No.
Well, that's the last time I'm going
I've-
to let you make fun of Pearl Jammers. That's all I'm going to
Well,
do.
come on. I've never been invited. And now I've been
Now
officially
you've been
invited.
You got an open
So
invitation.
what else can people see at the museum if they have not been?
Yeah, great question. So kind of our, this Ghost Army exhibit will be in our temporary exhibition gallery. It's on the lower level. It's about 4,000 square feet. But on the main level is an exhibit called St. Louis in Service. That's kind of our more or less permanent exhibit, though elements of that do change. But that tells the story of St. Louis, St. Louisans, St. Louis companies, in different folks and neighborhoods, and how we've been involved and played roles in different conflicts all the way from the Revolutionary War up through today. So it's really kind of all encompassing that main exhibit.
Yeah, you don't think about it. I mean, we were around during the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
We weren't part of America yet.
Right.
But there were settlements here, and I'm sure that we did have a role there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Battle of Fort San Carlos is right down on what we know as 4th Street now.
Yeah.
And,
Ballpark Village, right?
Yep, right in that
Yeah.
area. Yeah, I think there's there might be a plaque there.
There
monument.
is. My understanding is the plaque is a block away from where it actually
Should be.
was.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's like a street over for some reason. I think it's right by the hotel.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
So there's that story, and then of course the memorial aspect of Soldiers Memorial. Most of that is in the outdoor space, but memorials to St. Louisans, and that encompasses the region and the county, and who have lost their lives in service. They're recognized by name on the multiple memorials. So if you're a St. Louis family, there's a very good chance that there's a relative or a neighborhood acquaintance that may be on that memorial.
Could there be soldiers that are lost that are unknown to you, but they might have family members here that could relay that information?
I think so. I think what we have found is that, folks may not know that they have family members engraved, or, just through the process, especially for the older memorials, the process of collecting those names wasn't always foolproof, right?
Sure.
And so certainly there's probably individuals that were missed or whatnot, and they're welcome to contact Soldiers Memorial and let us know.
Because people get into I've gotten into genealogy, and my great grandfather fought in the Civil War.
Yeah.
Now he didn't die in the Civil War, so he's not going to be there.
Right.
But I wouldn't have known that until doing the genealogy. So I bet people find out all kinds of things about their ancestors.
Yeah. I think, you and I have been down a similar road researching ancestors, finding out, my, I don't know how many greats, but my great uncle was served in the Union Army back in Pennsylvania. And that's always fun too. And we do have a interactive in the memorial that we accept names and information and photos even, and we upload those into an interactive. So we're constantly adding new folks to that as well. Yeah.
And the memorial, it's free to come in, right?
It's free. Yep. It's free. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 to 5, and it's always free.
Awesome.
All
Mark
that.
Sunlove, thanks for coming in and telling us about this, a thing that I didn't really know anything about. So it's really cool. And the exhibit will start a week from today, and it runs through the middle of January. It is free at the Soldiers Memorial right downtown St. Louis. Come see it. Mark Sunlove, who is the director of the Soldiers Memorial, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It's John Hancock, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Vinyl windows, they're just plastic. But windows made of composite Fibrix material from Renewal by Andersen, they're twice as strong as vinyl and far more durable. Hey guys, it's Amy Markscores. With Renewal by Andersen windows, their signature Fibrix material means no bending, no cracking, and no rotting. Just beautiful windows warranted to last decades. Their windows are available in 49 different color combinations. The options are endless. Why wait to ditch the plastic? Choose Renewal by Andersen and give your home the upgrade it deserves. And don't miss out. Renewal by Andersen's BOGO Bonanza is happening now. Buy one window, patio door, or entry door and get the next one 50% off. That's 50% off with no payments and no interest for 18 months. Call 314-720-9200. 314-720-9200. That's 314-720-9200.
Join the movement to end breast cancer on October 19th. By supporting the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer, you're helping save lives through groundbreaking research discovery and patient support. Get info or donate at makingstrideswalk.org/St. Louis Mo.
Turn it up to Pear because this big news only gets better. Mercy Go Health Urgent Care just opened a brand new center located in the DePere Point Shopping Center near Trader Joe's and right next to DePere Dentistry. That means you can now conveniently save your spot online or just walk in to visit with a friendly Mercy provider any night, weekend, or holiday when you need care. Plus, their state-of-the-art centers offer on-site x-rays and labs so you can get the timely services you need in no time at all. Visit Mercy Go Health Urgent Care in DePere today.
St. Louis City SC is turning up the heat at the club's free pre-match city block party, starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, all before kickoff against rival Sporting KC. Come out to Lou Fuse Plaza, located steps from City Park, for live music from Tef Poe, Strings EMB, Darkwood, and others. Get special rivalry match merchandise and enjoy local food and drinks, games, giveaways, and so much more. For all the details, visit stlcitysc.com. We've got the sauce. Pour it on, St. Louis.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Fira Capital Management, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call Fira Capital Management today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Fira Capital Management, 314-328-4400. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Firm may not give tax advice.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Local insights, breaking news. KMOX, the news station dedicated to St. Louis and the region. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
John, what's going on in my neighborhood?
I don't know.
Central West End, the Cathedral Basilica.
Gorgeous.
Great. In fact, when I was in high school, in art class, we did our art class field trip day, and that was one of the stops.
Yeah.
We went to the Basilica, we went inside, and we looked. It is the only time I've stepped foot in there. Churches and me, we don't mix. Weddings, though. Hey, we got to talk about weddings.
We're going to talk weddings.
We have to talk weddings.
I'm going to give you a good solid.
I need you, John, because I am officiating a wedding.
Yep, I'm here for you, buddy.
First week of October. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so I need your help.
We'll figure it out.
So early this morning at the Cathedral Basilica, there was a vandal who was tampering with construction equipment, and this happened early in the morning. And the Angel of Harmony statue, which is outside, was damaged by this fool, who has been arrested, by the way. And I believe we have
rightfully so.
We have a little bit of audio from a person who was watching the whole thing happen.
We heard it sounded like a car getting towed or like a dump truck dumping a bunch of stuff. And so we didn't think much of it, but when it went on for like 5 minutes. And so finally we looked outside and the crane was just ramming straight through it over and over.
So they were doing it on purpose. This is somebody I think was insane.
Would have to be either that or he's got some kind of deep-seated thing against the Angel of Harmony.
Why would you have anything against the Angel of Harmony?
I wouldn't imagine anybody having a thing against the Angel of Harmony. I think a perfectly lovely angel.
The Angel of Harmony, this according to the story, by Polish sculptor Wiktor Zostalo.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised we've got a Zostalo in St. Louis.
Zostalo.
That's quite a thing.
It was to introduce people to different forms of religious images, and it reflected a theme of racial harmony.
There it is.
So why would you damage something like that?
I don't know. What year was that sucker?
So it was installed in 1999.
Yeah, but what year was it created? Do we know? Or maybe was it made for the Cathedral Basilica by Mr. Stalinsky or whatever his name is?
Well, it was not. It was Zostalo.
Yeah.
Victor.
Yeah.
Spelled with a W.
Is this an old statue? In other words, was it
do you mean was it old somewhere else? And
yes, and then moved here,
relocated.
Right.
I don't think so. I think it was just made in 1999.
Well, so Victor Sabuk, whatever his name is, might still be able to be alive, right? And fix that sucker
possible.
up. Yeah,
it's a 14-foot tall sculpture. It is made of stainless steel.
Oh,
and it looks, and there's a lot of damage to it. I mean, this guy really took one of those cranes to it, knocked it off its pedestal.
Need to throw the book at this guy.
Yeah, he's 35 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and this happened last night. I said early this morning, but it happened
like in the middle of the night
evening.
or whatever. Yeah.
It's sometimes just watching crazy things happen outside your window. That's fun.
Well, it makes you feel better about yourself.
It really does.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, the Cardinals make me feel better about myself. Although they did win the first 2 games in the series against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
If they were playing like this all season, we'd be having a different conversation.
I
with
know,
John Rooney.
right?
Yeah.
Let's go. They're above 500 again.
Oh, boy.
John Rooney comes up next, our guy. We're going to talk some birds when we come back on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Now at pedalthecause.org, register for our 15th anniversary event. Coming this September 21st and 22nd, because the more we ride, the more we raise. The more we raise, the more we research. The more we research, the more we all raise. Together, we will create a world without cancer. Learn more at pedalthecause.org.
At 11:30, Sun 82 downtown at the Arch. Federal Reserve is set to cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. CBS's Jolene Kent.
The time has come. It's been 4 years since the Federal Reserve has reduced interest rates, and economists are all but certain that the central bank is going to do it today. What we don't know is the size of the cut.
This just in.
Boeing CEO says a large number of employees will be furloughed to conserve cash during the Washington State commercial airplane factory workers strike. Watching some road work on 70 going east at Salisbury. It's got the right lane closed. This afternoon's high 91. For tonight, low 65. For tomorrow, sunshine with a high of 92. Sponsored by Sachs Financial. Right now, 82. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs with Sachs Financial. Do you have a plan for your retirement when it comes to your income so that you can live your best life? If not, go to our website and find out about our retirement compensation plan. RetireSafeSTL.com. RetireSafeSTL.com.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I see clearly now, thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry. You can too. Go to youridoc.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Join us in Forest Park on September 20th and 21st for the Great Forest Park Balloon Race Weekend, presented by PNC Bank. Attendance is free, and the number of memories and photos you can capture is endless. Special thanks to Wash U, Blue Moon, and Miller Lite, Purina, and St. Louis Children's Hospital. The events page at KMOX.com has all your details. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX, sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
The pitch. Strike three call for a Redbird winner. Helsley strikes out 2, and Lance Lynn gets the win. Light up the night in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals beat the Pirates 3-1.
It's the Chris and Amy Show today with John Hancock. I'm Chris Ranji. Good morning to all of you. We've got John Rooney. We're trying to link up with John. We always talk to him on Wednesday mornings after the 11:30 news update. Last night, John Hancock, Lance Lynn may have made his last start in a Cardinals uniform at Busch Stadium as the Cardinals have gotten themselves back above 500.
Woohoo.
It doesn't do anything for you?
No, it does. And I like Lance Lynn. And I suppose there's a chance they'll bring him back for one more season. He's on that year of options, the team option for next year. But I think a lot of that's going to depend on the development of some of these young pitchers. I guess it looks like we're going to see Michael McGreevy again before the end of the season. I don't know about Graceffo, but you'd like to get a look at these young guys and see if the Cardinals might have a diamond in the rough down there.
Well, that is a big part of whatever their future is going to be. And I mean immediate future.
Mm-hmm.
So by immediate, talking like 2025, they're going to have to figure out what some of their young players can do. Because I don't want to say this is not going to be a competitive team next year, because I think it could be still.
Sure could, yeah.
The division is not one of those that is impossible. The Brewers are good. They're very close to clinching the Central title.
And the Brewers are good because they have maximized the talent in their organization in a way that most people didn't see coming this year.
And I imagine the Cubs are going to get better, and they're going to spend because that's what they do. They have the resources. So I imagine, I don't know if they're going to be like World Series pennant contender
but they're not
next year,
that
but they're
far away, the Cubs.
They could be good again pretty quickly, like really good again. The other two teams in the division, Pirates, Reds, I can't imagine they're ever going to. They might have a fluke year where they win a division, but you're not going to have any sustained success from them because neither team has been willing to, even though they've drafted well at times, developed well, have a lot of young talent, they have not ever committed to spending money on free agency, which you have to do. You have to do that to supplement your young talent if you truly want to be good.
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about them in that way. They'll just be more of a nuisance than anything else.
I expected the Reds to be better this year than they have been because they do have a good deal of talent on that team.
But again, that's the problem with them, with their ownership. They have, in fact, if you remember, was it last season or the season before, their team president, who, was getting criticism from the fan base because they weren't interested in investing in the roster. And he said something to the effect of, well, Cincinnati's lucky to have us here. Like, what? I mean, who do you think you are, bro? Fans don't want to hear stuff like that.
They do not. I think that may be the oldest franchise in baseball, the Cincinnati Reds.
You might be right.
Yeah.
But, I would not worry about them long term. They're a team that will give you problems. They're not going to be an easy out, but they're not going to win the division anytime soon. And clearly not this year. It's not going to happen, but it's not going to happen any other time. But the two teams you do have to worry about are Milwaukee and Chicago. So what are the Cardinals going to be in 2025? That's the real question. Are they going to be competitive enough? Will they kind of do what they're doing this year? A lot of that is going to be dependent upon what the younger players do
and
what Jordan Walker does, for example.
The decisions this offseason are going to be fascinating because, the construction of this lineup, you don't have enough good right-handed bats productive bats in the lineup. And you got, in some ways, two of the same guy in Lars Nootbaar and Brandon Donovan. Left-handed, high on base guys, little bit of pop. They're very similar ball players. Can you have two players like that in your everyday life? I suppose you could. But then we're wasting the abilities they actually have by batting them 5th or 7th in the batting order. A high on base guy with some speed. You're wasting Lars Nootbaar batting him 7th because you got Pages and Ciani behind him, and so he gets on base. So what? So you need to have those guys higher up in the batting order if you're going to keep both of them. I suspect one of them might move along this offseason if they can package it up for a frontline pitcher.
Here's the real problem the Cardinals are going to have in 2025. It is they will at least have Nolan Arenado back. They might have Paul Goldschmidt back. If you have both of them back, just for the sake of argument, and it's possible they bring back Goldie on
1 year,
a cheaper deal.
Yep.
Just hey, I wouldn't call it a prove it deal, but you're not going to cost us all that much. You're here. There's a good chance that you could break out again and be something closer to what your career norm is. Though I don't think he ever gets back to peak Paul Goldschmidt.
No,
I think that's probably past. But if you have those two guys in your lineup and they are not producing,
you can't hit them 3rd and 4th. You just can't do it.
Well, I mean, you're right. But if they're supposed to be your 3rd and 4th hitters and they're not producing anything like that, I mean, your lineup's in trouble.
Yes,
but you can if you're a good team, if you're, for example, the Yankees and you've got Stanton and Judge, right? If your 7, 8, 9 guys aren't producing, well, okay, great. You still got Stanton and Judge. You have two of you've got really prolific run producers.
Mm-hmm.
But if those two guys aren't producing, and then you're just relying on 7, 8, 9 in your order, you can't win like that.
I think Contreras proved himself this year, at least to me, that he can be a middle of the order effective bat.
Of course he
with
can.
Some pop, hit him 3rd or 5th or 4th. Burleson, I think, has some. I think hitting Burleson 2nd, I understand the rationale for it now, but if your 3rd and 4th guys aren't hitting, I would rather see a Donovan or a Nootbaar batting 2nd in that order, and move Burleson into more of a power position because the guy hits. And he hits, and when he hits it hard, and he doesn't strike out that much.
Yeah, right now the Cardinals are in a really difficult position, and I agree with you. I think this offseason will be one of their most fascinating off seasons because we just don't. First of all, we don't know what changes they're going to make within the organization, if any. We know John Mozeliak will be with the organization in 25. Don't know if it's going to be a different role,
right?
If they bring in somebody else from the outside, if they promote somebody from within, or if they just keep it the way it is for another year. We know that he's done after 25 because that's what he's said. But that's where it starts. You got to figure that part out first.
Yeah.
Figure out what your front office is going to look like.
Bernie made a great point yesterday, Bernie Miklas, that they've got to hire a director of player development. And who's going to hire him? The GM that's going to be here, for the president of baseball operations is going to be here for just one more year, or the president of baseball operations is going to be here for a while.
Well, see, that's where it gets tricky.
It does.
Because if you allow the current person to do it, to make that decision, you're running the risk of him not jiving with the new general manager or president of baseball operations.
Exactly.
It's almost like in football, firing your head coach, keeping one of the coordinators around, bringing in a new head coach and saying, here's your coordinator.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
It doesn't always work. No. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you're on the same page there, but I can't imagine they do that. I think they're going to have to work very quickly if they make some sort of change there for next season.
And then when you look at the construction of the ball club, it's no secret to anybody. They need a top of the order rotation.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And so the question
they got
becomes,
Sonny Gray, but you need another one.
Right. And hopefully somebody a little better than Sonny Gray, or at least better than Sonny Gray has been this year. Sonny Gray can be better than he was this year. He was fine, he was fine. But then you start looking around for the assets that you have. And one of the problems the Cardinals have had is they've had assets that were coveted by other teams, Dylan Carlson. But they held on to that asset so long that when they traded him for a guy that they put on DFA'd him,
Yeah.
And which I didn't understand that move anyway, but I digress. So you think about what are the assets that this ball club possesses that they're willing to part with in order to sweeten the pot to get a pitcher that's on the last year or 2 years of a contract that's really good. That Logan Gilbert that pitched against us with Seattle, tremendous talent. And one of the assets I think this team does have that will be very much sought after by contenders next year is Ryan Helsley out of the bullpen. He's had a phenomenal year. Arguably the best, most reliable closer in baseball. Do you look at that asset and say, what can we get if we package that up with a backup catcher like a Ivan Herrera, for example? You throw in a top 8 prospect. That's a pretty good package to get you somewhere. You're not going to get anything trading Miles Michaelis.
No. That is really I think their biggest issue if they're trying to help the roster for next year. They don't have a lot of, or even beyond next year, they don't have a lot of really tradable,
desirable.
Yeah, that another team would say, well, here's our second best prospect, or our third best prospect for this guy. You don't have that. And the ones you do have that might get that for you, you're not trading.
Jordan Walker.
Which I don't even know that he would get that.
And I think Nolan Gorman's value has diminished
of course,
as a result of this season. And we're not even sure what we have there going forward.
Well, if let's take Arenado, for example. If he had really been producing this year, like all season long and not just more recently, he could be one of those people because he is under contract for a little bit.
Right.
You might have been able to get a good young package that helps you down the road. I don't think that's available for you.
I don't see it.
Not right now.
Yeah. I mean, Helsley may be the most attractive piece you've got to deal.
Yeah. But
on this team.
And how does that help you in 25?
Well, it depends on you'd have to put a package together. You'd have to get a Logan Gilbert-esque type pitcher.
Which I don't know he gets that for you.
Right.
So they're in a tough spot.
They are.
I cannot wait to see what they do during this offseason because it will be fascinating. John Hancock, Chris Ranji. John is going to teach me how to conduct a wedding. I've been to a wedding.
Yeah.
Haven't participated in one. John's going to teach me how to conduct one. That's coming up next hour.
Yeah.
We another baseball thing I want to get to with you.
Yeah.
I know you love baseball.
I do.
There is a guy, you may or may not have heard of him, but he is unbelievable. You ever heard of Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We got to talk about this guy when we come back.
Top 3 all time.
It's KMOX.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
It's warm now, but winter will be here before you know it. That's why Banner Construction is having their pre-winter window event. Choose from Banner's various energy-efficient brands and window price points featuring beautiful Pella windows. Banner is a certified Pella contractor and preferred James Hardie specialist. If you've been considering new windows or a fresh new exterior for your home, see Banner's work at bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
When was the last time you detoxed your body? If you're like most people, the answer is probably never. If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation, then those are all telltale signs. So how do you detox your body? Well, you can add saunas or juice fasts, but what you really need is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or Meijer, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by calling 844-300-LEAF to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water, and it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty, so you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Call Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate and to save up to 30%. Dial 844-300-LEAF. That's 844-300-LEAF.
I'm Maria Kina. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Kiss me once, then kiss me twice, then kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Love you, John Hancock.
Well,
that was lovely.
You can use the voice message feature on the Odyssey app, however you choose.
Darn near anything.
You can do whatever you want.
Who was that?
It was Jonathan.
Jonathan. All right. Well,
Jonathan singing that World War II era song.
Hope he wasn't singing it to me, but I hope he was singing it for me.
It could have been a little bit of both.
Yeah. It was very kind.
Look, just take the compliment.
I'll take it, buddy.
Either way.
I'll take it.
John Hancock, Chris Ranji on KMOX today. Final hour of the show is coming up. And
hard to believe the final hour is already here.
And this is, we'll see you again on Friday, right? You're going to be back in on Friday.
Yeah, they were doing something on Friday. And then am I back here on Monday?
What are you asking me for?
I don't know what's happening. Okay, it doesn't matter.
I'm
That's
not your boss.
So far in the future. Yeah, you are.
It's what you have to be in charge of your own schedule, John.
I dated my boss once.
How'd that go?
Well, fine. Out at Six Flags.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was in charge of the characters, Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam and me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Getting frisky at Six Flags?
Well, back in the day.
Well, listen, John, I know this much. when you date your boss, there's something about dating your superior, no matter what job you're in. Like, let's say you're working at a
It's
restaurant.
probably not in the HR manuals. Probably not.
No.
It's probably frowned upon.
No. I had
she wasn't really my boss.
Well,
so I had a piano player.
When I was working at the restaurant years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, a little thing with my manager.
The manager.
And I got to tell you, do you know what?
Is this the one that you cussed out the patron?
No,
that was a different restaurant.
No, same restaurant.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, they deserved it.
Okay.
I didn't get in trouble either.
Well, because you were dating the manager.
No, it wasn't. It was a different. We weren't even dating. It was just, we were friends. And,
what kind? Your friends?
We were friends.
Like what kind of friends?
Friends. And so there's something.
Just friends or friends?
John, it's neither here nor there.
Well, it's both here and there. Right?
Well, but there is something.
Inquiring minds want to know. There are people out there, dozens of people out there on the edge of their little car seats.
There's a moment. Here's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Even when you're in your early 20s, and you're working at a restaurant, and you have whatever with your boss, it's awesome. It's the best.
Oh,
you're not supposed to do it. No, because there's something about your superior who's in charge of your schedule.
So you have the David Sanborn music on in the background.
Oh, well, that wasn't like.
No.
Come on,
all right.
Come on, let's have a little class here. This is the
find a little David Sanborn for us, Pete. We can.
This is the voice of St. Louis.
It is.
Look at us.
So,
but anyway, there's something about
you're right there in the restaurant, are you?
A relationship with your superior.
Yep.
That is just
frowned
very.
upon.
It's great. You shouldn't do it though.
Huh.
You shouldn't do it
because it's frowned upon.
But it is great because you know what happens. The other people who work
Oh,
with you.
That's why it creates what they call
they
a
get mad.
hostile work environment.
It wasn't
and why you don't want to do that.
It
There
wasn't
you
ever.
go.
Okay.
I get it.
It wasn't ever hostile.
Can I
But
have
people,
section 3 tonight.
the other servers were like, "Come on, man! He's getting all this preferential treatment."
Make George handle the bar area, and I'll see you after we lock up at 11:05. It'll be great.
Is this what you did at Six Flags?
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought you were doing.
David Sanborn, man, very underrated talent out there for setting a mood.
Is that who this is?
That's who it is.
It's
St.
not
Louis's own David Sanborn.
It is?
Yes.
Wow. We have, you know what? There are more gems and jewels and
This
talent
city,
that come from this city than you realize.
is produced. St. Louis is a city that produces.
It really does.
Not so much anymore, but it's a great city.
Give us some credit. We'll have to bring up that baseball thing later. We got sidetracked.
Oh, yeah. Oops. Sorry.
John Hancock, Chris Ranji. When we come back, did you know the Great Forest Park Balloon Race is happening this weekend?
Yes. I love it.
Ow!
I don't like it. I love it.
We're going to talk about it when we come back. Give you some details on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
The news of the day.
Donald Trump safe at his home in Mar-a-Lago after a second foiled assassination attempt.
I commend the Secret Service for the expert handling of the situation.
The stories you need to know.
Bipartisan concerns about changes to the U.S. Postal Service and the potential impact on the election.
People cannot expect when they mail an absentee ballot that it will be returned in a timely fashion.
Reliable, dependable, never predictable. News Radio 1120, KMOX. KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Everyone's talking about the DGS.
Hey, DGS, this is Aaron from St. Charles. I've been listening to you guys for 17 years, and I think you need to come with a driving hazard warning with the show. I'm driving down 70, listening to Andrew and Hancock talk about hot dogs and just crying laughing in my car.
Got something to say?
I get it. Keep it up. Love you guys.
Use the Odyssey app, click the microphone, and leave your voice recording for the Dave Glover Show. Weekdays beginning at 1 on KMOX.
Fall is in the air, and it's a perfect time for you to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Whether you need something done before winter comes or you just want to plan for next spring so that you can have the best outdoor space on the block, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the company to call. They do offer free in-home estimates, free project design, so they can help you put together the plan to make your outdoor space the envy of everyone, party central, or just your own quiet little refuge. Decks, patios, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, fences, retaining walls. They can do it all at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They have the highest quality materials. They have their own installation team, which is really important because they have years of experience and they stand behind everything they do. For the month of September, if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll give you 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Find them online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
At 12 noon, we've got sunshine. It is 83 downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. 2 high schools in the Metro East went on lockdown due to threats of violence.
Kokia High School sheltered in place after threats made on social media. Here's student Dominic.
Someone posted on their Instagram story they was going to come to the school and do like a shootout.
Parents were allowed to come and pick up their students, and many did at Kokia High School. Meanwhile, just a couple miles away, East St. Louis High School had a similar situation. They were on a soft lockdown and allowed parents to come pick up their students after threats were made against the school as well. Outside East St. Louis High School, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Having all but tamed inflation, the Federal Reserve is poised to do something today it hasn't done in more than 4 years.
Pretty much everyone on Wall Street agrees that the Fed is poised to cut interest rates today for the first time since COVID dominated 2020. But there's nothing in the vicinity of consensus among investors, economists, and Fed watchers regarding the size of the cut. Former New York Fed Bank President Bill Dudley says the cut should be 0.5%. Ex-St. Louis Fed head James Bullard says it should be 0.25%. That hot argument is having a chilling effect on Wall Street. Indexes staying not far from the start line. Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 all losing about 0.1%. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
An apparent second wave of explosions has killed at least 3 people, wounded more than 100 in Hezbollah strongholds of Lebanon. CBS News Pentagon correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The latest explosions happened in southern and eastern Lebanon. Reports claim walkie-talkies blew up, and one case at a funeral for one of the 12 victims of yesterday's attack, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
There is a serious risk of a dramatic escalation in Lebanon, and everything must be done to avoid that escalation.
There's been no comment from Israel on this week's attacks, but it had warned it would broaden its war effort to focus on Hezbollah, an ally of Hamas in Gaza.
The presidential candidates are taking a brief break from campaigning in battleground states. Donald Trump is in suburban New York. Kamala Harris plans to speak at a Congressional Hispanic Caucus conference. Police arrest a suspect for damaging a statue outside the Cathedral Basilica.
The damage is extensive. The Angel of Harmony is laying on its side off of its base after a construction lift was being used for tuck pointing here at the church, was commandeered by a 35-year-old man, police believe, and a witness saw the whole thing from her apartment across the street.
We saw the guy run off behind the church, like off to the left into the parking lot, and then raise his arm up in the air, shot a gun off.
Police confirmed a shot was fired. The suspect was arrested at Maryland and Euclid. Outside the church, Central West End, Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk. Has your bank ever charged you overdraft fees for ATM and debit card transactions without your consent? A federal regulator says that's been happening, and it's moving to put a stop to it.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says the banks have been harvesting those fees even though they didn't have their customers' documented consent. The CFPB says banks sometimes claim they have consent, but there's no proof they actually got it. The regulator calls that a phantom opt-in. A federal law bars banks from charging some overdraft fees unless a consumer has affirmatively opted in. The CFPB is now telling federal and state bank examiners to require banks to provide proof of consent before they can collect overdraft fees. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
The Dow from Stifel's now up 25 points to 41,631.
Sunshine mixing with a few clouds and hot this afternoon with a high of 91. Then tonight will be mainly clear and mild, though just 65. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and remaining hot with a high of 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It is 84 in Florissant, 84 St. Peter's, 83 downtown at the Arch, and the feels like is 88. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating at scottleeheating.com.
Scott Lee Heating's premier dealer distinction means you'll be working with the best the industry offers. Learn more about our special savings opportunities on Lennox products by calling 314-756-9444 or visit us online at scottleeheating.com.
Navigating politics with a balanced perspective, fostering discussions, not arguments. The Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
99 red balloons floating in the summer sky. Panic
That's old Dina Totenberg.
Is that right? Is it Luftballons?
Yeah, Luftballons.
Luftballons.
Yeah, that was a big MTV sensation back in the 80s.
You didn't watch MTV in the 80s.
Okay.
Did you?
Yes.
Then why don't you know anything?
Well, because I only retain good music in the brain.
On. There's so much good stuff that you don't, that you're like, what is that?
Well, that's why we live, Ronj, because we're discovering new things all the time.
John Hancock, Chris Ranji, Chris and Amy show. Final hour, and we do have coming up this weekend in St. Louis.
Yes.
In Forest Park, one of my favorite events of the year. It is the Great Forest Park Balloon Race. And to talk about it with us is the Director of Comms and Event Production for the Great Forest Park Balloon Race. Jessica Stegan is with us on KMOX on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good afternoon, Jessica.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
Man, we're doing great. We are looking forward to many, many balloons in the
Love
sky.
the balloon. I mean, the balloons. I mean, they're just so big, these balloons.
They're wonderful.
This is true. They're 90 feet tall. It's amazing. Makes everybody feel like a kid again. We're
bigger
very
than Robert
excited for this
Wadlow, these
weekend.
balloons.
Robert, the Alton Giant.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's coming up. It gets started on, let's see, today's Wednesday, Thursday. It gets started on Friday.
That's right. We are celebrating our 52nd year in Forest Park. Very proud of that and thankful to all of our sponsors like PNC Bank for helping us make this happen every year. But we're inviting everyone to come down and join us at Emerson Central Fields on Friday starting at 5 p.m. And that will be our night of the glow, where all the balloons stay together on the field. We have 50 balloons coming this year from all across the country, and they will glow like fireflies when the sun starts to set.
There's nothing like it. If you folks have not experienced, you got all these balloons out there.
I love the glow.
And you got the, the little flames or whatever you got there heating up the gas or whatever they're doing. And those suckers get big, and they got drinks over there. There's a lot to do.
Oh,
with
there's drinks
at the glow.
That's right. We have Ice Cold Blue Moon. They're going to be offering deals 5 get 6 at the event this year. We have 32 food trucks, 14 field concession vendors. So you can certainly bring your own picnic. The event is totally free. You could bring your own soft-sided cooler, but we do have a lot of concessions and foods from all around the world for people to enjoy as well. Go ahead.
How deep into the facility can an Uber driver get?
Well, we recommend Uber drivers drop off closer to the History Museum just because of road closures that are closest to Emerson Central Fields. It's best to drop there and be able to walk over from that part of the park. But there are, and I think my recommendation always for Uber drivers is to pick an intersection and tell them an intersection, because when it comes to Forest Park, there's not always an address that's best to use.
Yeah, it can be difficult to navigate there. So, but walking, it's the park. It's Forest Park. You can walk. It's
Right.
fine.
It's gorgeous. And we do have maps online. So anyone who visits GreatForestParkBalloonRace.com, we have a street map that shows all of the road closures, reminds people of all the different areas and entrances to the park and where all the parking is. Street parking and parking lot parking is free. And we also have our festival map that highlights where the WashU main stage will be, where all the other activities around the balloons will be, because it's not just about the balloons. They are certainly the centerpiece, but we have a huge festival that fills Central Fields.
So again, 5 o'clock, everything gets going. You've got the DJ starting at 6 o'clock. The balloon glow gets started at 6:45, and that runs for a couple of hours before maybe my favorite part of the whole thing is the U.S. Army Golden Knights parachute team.
Yes, we are so happy to have them back, and they love coming to St. Louis. They joined us for the first time ever for our 50th anniversary a few years ago, and we love having them back every year. It's one of our newer traditions. So they will jump at 9 o'clock on Friday evening with flares on their boots. It's quite a show, and land at an X at the center of the field. And once the balloons start glowing, we, as long as the weather permits, like to allow the public to come out, walk amongst the balloons, talk to the pilots, feel how hot those burners are. So by the time the Golden Knights come down, you can actually be right up close and see them and just how talented they are.
Have we ever had a Golden Knight that bounced off one of the balloons on the way down?
No,
Not so far.
They deflate the balloons.
Oh, they do?
We do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good safety precaution. See, they
Yeah.
think of everything out there.
Well, yeah, you
It's
can't land on a
incredible.
balloon.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and actually the pilot for the Golden Knights this year, I just learned this morning, is a St. Louisan. Her name's Courtney, and she's with the U.S. Army and the Golden Knight parachute team. So, and they do fly over the field for about 20 minutes before they jump. So we always get really cool footage from them.
Yeah,
with the balloons glowing down below in all of Forest Park.
Jessica, it must have been the first year that they were here a couple of years ago. So they did the balloon glow on Friday, and then the following afternoon they do it again before prior to the race. And I got to go up in the plane and be up there while they were getting ready to jump, and then they all jumped out. I stayed there, and I was fascinated by like how the door is open to the back of the plane. The door they jump out of, it's open the entire time. And these dudes, of course, they have parachutes on, but they're just kind of casually hanging over the edge, just looking out. It's like I know you got a parachute on, but dude, get away from the door. Those guys are unbelievable.
Well, and this team, they've all had at least 1,500 jumps. I mean, some of them are in the 3,000 jump range. So they're the most elite parachuters that are around. We're very, very happy to have them and hosted by Drury Hotels. And it's just, St. Louis, it always gives them a big welcome. Actually, the police department and the Cardinals have welcomed them to the game tomorrow night. So they're going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Cardinals game tomorrow night.
Are they going to jump into the stadium?
No, I don't think so. We're saving that show for the balloon race.
Yeah, you got to go to the balloon
Well, and
race.
then you got the world famous the Hound and the Tooth and the race the next day. What's that?
The
thing?
Hare and the Hound race.
Yes.
You got it. Which I always say is a little bit more like a chase if you think about it. So the Hare balloon, which is the PNC Bank balloon, it's a beautiful orange and blue balloon that you can't miss. That pilot launches first, and the race will start around 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on wind conditions. That balloon launches first. They start taking flight wherever the winds take them. Everybody always asks, where the balloon's going to go? We know that pretty much at like 3:30 on Saturday, we'll make some announcements on social media about the direction of the balloon.
And how long will they be up floating out there? They can go a pretty good distance, don't they?
That's true. Yes. Depending on wind conditions and wind direction, they could go up for up to an hour. If they're headed towards the airport, we generally will find a landing place before that happens. They may not fly quite as long. But the exciting part about the race is that the balloons land in people's yards. They land on golf courses. We've landed in someone's wedding pictures before.
Cool.
It's quite exciting. And when they land in neighborhoods, we love it when children and families come out and help pack up the balloon and talk to the pilot.
What happens if one of the balloons catches up to the Hare balloon? Do they get a prize?
So the bragging rights for our event is every pilot is challenged to drop a birdseed bag as close to the X that the PNC Bank balloon puts on the ground when they land. So the goal isn't to necessarily land together. It's to drop a birdseed bag on that X and get as close as you can. And the exciting part over 52 years is that some years it's 20 feet, some years it's 2 miles because the winds can change mid-flight. The hair balloon gets a head start. So within that 10-15 minute head start, the winds can change a little bit.
That's a good deal for the birds. I mean, think about being a bird out there and all of a sudden, boom, it's this bird seed falling from the sky. That's amazing.
They don't ask. They don't even ask where it came from.
No, it's just like manna from heaven coming down. The bird's thinking, this is like, what have I done to deserve this?
That's true. Third week in September is the best weekend of the year for them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Jessica, have you ever been up in one of the balloons?
I have, and it's just a wonderful, peaceful, exciting experience. I often liken it to sort of an open air elevator feel. It's very quiet. You're flying with the wind, so you don't feel the wind. And one of my absolute favorite things is that we fly generally pretty low, so people can hear us. You can talk to kiddos on the ground. You can hear dogs barking at us. It's really fun.
Wow, can you have a cigar on that thing, or is that forbidden?
No,
Yeah.
highly not recommended.
No, John.
Well, I was just thinking that'd be a great place to have a cigar.
Well,
Nice
I
and
mean,
do they have chairs in these things?
They don't have chairs.
The balloon pilots often celebrate with champagne after the fact.
Well, after the fact, you don't want a bunch of drunk guys flying
and
balloons out there.
once they land, they celebrate with their crew and their passenger,
Jessica,
which is always fun.
Can you guarantee that none of the balloon pilots will be drunk?
I can absolutely 100% guarantee that.
There it
one.
is.
See?
Good job. She's great.
Thank you for clarifying that.
She knows her stuff, man.
Yeah, no, well, she has to.
Well, I guess that's true.
She's running the show over there. It's
Yeah.
Jessica Stegan, the director of
Big
comms
job.
for the Great Forest Park balloon race, and with us now. So the whole thing is free, right? I mean, food trucks you'll have to pay, and refreshments, that sort of thing you'll have to pay, but to go to it, totally free.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there are opportunities to spend money, but you don't have to. You can bring your own soft-sided cooler, canned beverages, picnic blanket, hang out with us, enjoy some time with your friends who are like family, with your family. We see all generations come out. I love it when we run into grandparents who are bringing their grandchildren for the first time. And it's, really, we always say our event is about soft landings and family traditions. And that runs even through the pilots and the people who organize it. We have a lot of father-son pilot groups in our team. We have some husband-wife pilots in the race. So it's just a wonderful way to spend time outside together, making new memories that you'll talk about forever.
It's awesome. I really enjoy going. I hope to go again this weekend. So it gets started not tomorrow, Friday night, 5:00. The food trucks, everything will open up. 6:45, the balloon glow begins. At 9:00, the Golden Knights, the parachute team, will jump, and then at 9:15, a fireworks finale. That is Friday. And then on Saturday, everything opens up at 1:00. The Golden Knights again at 3. Opening ceremonies 3:30. You've got the balloon launch at 4:30. So it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. So that is Friday and Saturday in Forest Park at Central Fields. Jessica Stegan, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you both so much. I hope everybody visits greatforestparkballoonrace.com to plan ahead and know before you go.
Jessica, you're the best.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. You are too.
Can you get John up in one of the balloons?
I don't think
We
it
can
would
probably
float.
make that happen.
There's got to be a weight limit on that
Yeah,
sucker. I would say.
Yeah, probably.
KMOX is actually one of our longest running sponsors, which I'm very happy to report. We're very thankful for that. Back in 1973, KMOX.
That's right.
Yeah,
was our
I was
partner,
in the room when we made that decision, Jessica.
for the very first race. So
is there still a
we're very
KMOX?
thankful.
Jessica, is there still a KMOX balloon?
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
It's a blue, very varied color blue check racer balloon. So you'll see some of the balloons look a little skinnier, more oval-like. Those are racers rather than the more traditional shape. So yes, absolutely. You can look for that at the event this weekend.
KMOX?
Fantastic. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you both.
Jessica Stegan with the Great Forest Park Balloon Race. It gets started on Friday, happens Friday and Saturday. The Balloon Glow is on Friday night. If you find the KMOX balloon, take a photo of it and tweet it at us at Chris Amy KMOX.
Okay.
We'd be so happy. Not you, John.
No, not me.
I mean, you can if you want.
Probably not.
Okay. That's John Hancock. He's in for Amy. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Marilyn Facer recommends 3-day kitchen and bath.
Working with Dave was an absolute delight. Once everything was scheduled, everything went perfect.
Have you ever had a remodel done before?
About 25 years ago, and it was a nightmare.
Was 3-day kitchen and bath on time?
There was no delays. Everything was on time. All the deadlines were met. Everything came at once.
Would you recommend 3-day kitchen and bath to your friends and neighbors?
I highly recommend them to anybody.
Top quality products and craftsmanship in 3 days or less. Call 3-day kitchen and bath. Always on time as promised at the price promised, and your job comes with complete satisfaction guarantee. No ifs, ands, or buts. Visit their website at 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-day kitchen and bath.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Most of us know if it's a government program, it's hard to understand and full of red tape. Here's the problem. When you get into retirement, like it or not, you could possibly be depending heavily on Social Security and Medicare, and you'll probably need some help navigating through all the details. That's where Steve All and the All Financial Group can help. Join Steve and his team at their office on October 23rd, where Steve will discuss Social Security and special guest and Medicare consultant Scott Stream will present on Medicare. This event is complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Scott Stream and Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC are not affiliated.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super-rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I'm Dave Glover. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Can we fire Amy and keep John Hancock?
You two are hilarious. I'm going to crash my car laughing.
Jeez. Well, couple of things on that. Amy can't be fired.
Right.
She is...
Because she'd lose all of her vacation time.
Yeah, if she gets fired, how's she going to go on vacation?
Yeah, and I couldn't do this every day.
Yes, you could.
Well, not in, like, feed my family. I couldn't.
Well, no, you could. That's maybe true.
Yeah.
You'd have to keep your other job.
I
your
would,
main
yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Well, well, how about this? Either Amy gets fired or when I die, there's a good chance of me, there's a good chance that I pass away.
What are you talking about?
Well, if I die, you could take over for me.
I think the odds of you dying before I die are quite small.
Well, you never know. Anything can happen. Might have a balloon fall on top of me.
You're listening to The Amy Show. No longer featuring Chris Ranji because he has passed away.
So you could fill my spot. It could be John and Amy.
I think I'm all right.
Well, I think
we need you, Rons. We need you around.
Yeah.
I mean, the city would be
fine.
Poorer for your
The
loss.
city would make it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's fine. Look how well it's done without me.
Well, it's doing better with you. So there.
For years, St. Louis has been just fine.
Exactly.
Without me. Hey, we talk about that Shohei Ohtani fella.
Yeah.
How about this guy?
He lifts a fly ball to deep right field. How far will it go? Into the second deck. It's his 48th home run in his hunt for 50-50.
Dodgers TV. That dude has 48 home runs
and
48 stolen bases. So already no one's ever done that.
No.
He's got, 2 weeks to go to get to 50-50.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. And if he maintains his health, we don't know what the arm's going to be when he comes back next year, but presumably he's going to be taking the mound every fifth day. The game's never seen anything like this. I mean, you had that 3-year period in Boston when Babe Ruth was pitching and hitting, but I mean this is unlike anything the sport has ever seen. Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt.
Now it's harder,
no doubt,
to do what he's doing than it was for Babe.
And the speed. It's truly remarkable. He is worth the money.
50-50. I said 2 weeks left. It's about a week and a half of baseball. He'll get there.
Oh yeah. I wonder you got 10 or 12 games left, something like that. He'll get there.
I cannot wait. Look, I know a lot of people don't like the Dodgers just because it's the Dodgers and they spend a bunch of money, which I have a different philosophy on that. I think we should appreciate teams that spend a crap ton of money because they're trying to win.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't work,
and a lot of teams spend a lot of money and don't win.
Right.
Look at the Padres last year.
Yeah. Well, now they're better.
Right.
So, but I cannot wait to watch him in the playoffs. I hope that he has a look. Playoffs are small sample.
We've never seen it, right? We've never seen Shohei in the playoffs,
right? So because he was with such a and think about that.
Yeah.
What an absolute! If you're a baseball fan, look in other sports, for the most part, especially basketball, the superstars in the game get to the playoffs routinely.
Right.
How we were robbed to have two of the best players ever playing on the same team. One of them, though, dealing with injuries and kind of near the, I don't want to say tail end of a
He's
career.
Only 30.
But
You're talking about Mike Trout. He's only 34 years old.
Mike Trout, who wasn't producing like he used to, but you had an organization that went from easily the best player on the planet.
Yep.
Then they bring in the next best player on the planet, and they never went to the playoffs.
Yeah,
Trout's been to the playoffs once.
Really missed. I don't think they've won a playoff game since he's been there.
They said they definitely haven't won a series.
Right.
I don't remember if they've won a game or not. But what an injustice that's a baseball injustice that you've had arguably the two best players of the last 20 years. And they have like one playoff series between the two of them.
Well, and they had Albert Pujols, who had some very good years early on there during that time, who's also one of the greatest players to ever play the game. Yeah, it's that's something.
He's special, though. So I am hoping he gets there. 50-50 is an incredible...
He's going to make it. He's going to make it.
Of course, it's easier to steal bases now than it used to be.
True.
Well, and by used to, I mean, the last 15, 20 years leading up to it. 80s was a different
I
deal,
don't
right?
think I don't think the pitchers pay enough attention to the running game today.
No, they don't.
Yep.
They know to get the out at home.
That's
I
it.
mean, the guy at the plate. That's the guy they're worried about. I got a wedding to officiate. John Hancock is an expert, and he's got some wedding advice for me and for you. That's all coming up on KMOX.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/rain to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/rain. That's leaffilter.com/rain.
At Scrubbles, we're not just about cleaning your car, we're about giving you the freshest ride inside and out. Join now and enjoy a special offer for new members. For just $9.95 per month for the first 2 months, experience the benefits of our Scrubby Scrapping, Ultimate, Super, or Deluxe memberships. With 7 Scrubbles locations open and another coming soon to Wentzville, your membership is valid in all 8 locations. Visit ScrubblesExpressWash.com today to purchase your Scrubbles membership and find a wash near you.
This is Megan Lynch. The 2024 St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's is returning to the Chesterfield Amphitheater on Saturday, October 26th. More than 2,500 people are expected to walk at the annual event in honor of a loved one who had or who is living with Alzheimer's or dementia. Alzheimer's disease is the 5th leading cause of death among people aged 65 and older. Join me and join in the fight by registering for the walk at alz.org/STLwalk. That's alz.org/STLwalk.
At 12:30, Sun 84 downtown at the Arch. The Federal Reserve is set to announce its first interest rate cut in more than 4 years. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger sheds light on what she expects from the meeting.
In the press conference after this is announced, you're going to see the Federal Reserve Chair get peppered on where are we going to end? What will be the terminal rate? Where are we going to finish this process? Remember, we went from 0 to 5.25% to 5.5% in a hurry.
The Cardinals have taken the first 2 games of their series against the Pirates, winning yesterday 3-1. Lance Lynn, in what might be his final start with the Cardinals, went 6 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks as he picks up his 7th win of the season. Ryan Helsley gets the save. It is his 45th. The Cardinals get a home run off the bat of Jordan Walker, his 4th of the year. Game 3 of the 4-game series coming up tonight at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals will send Sonny Gray to the mound. First pitch at 6:45. Our coverage begins at 5:50. With the Redbird Report, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Road work on 44 going west at Elm in the right lane. Also road work 55 north at Arsenal in the right shoulder. And road work 270 going north at Manchester, the right shoulder closed. Forecast sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. High today of 91. Clear tonight, low 65. For tomorrow's sunshine with a high temperature of 92. Right now, sunny and 84. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Furnace funky?
Then make one call.
And Jerry Kelly will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelly will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelly.com. Hi, this is Jeff Sachs with Sachs Financial. Do you have a plan for your retirement when it comes to your income so that you can live your best life? If not, go to our website and find out about our retirement compensation plan. RetireSafeSTL.com. RetireSafeSTL.com.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. The director of Siteman Cancer Center, Dr. Tim Eberlein.
When they have a comprehensive cancer center, and of course, Siteman is the only comprehensive cancer center and only NCI designated center in the entire state of Missouri, and in fact in this region.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Think your vinyl windows are strong? Think again. Hi, it's Amy Mark Scores. Renewal by Anderson's windows are made of their signature composite Fibrix material. It's twice as strong as vinyl, and it won't warp or crack when the temperatures rise and fall. Renewal by Anderson custom builds every window to fit your home perfectly, down to 1/16 of an inch. That means no fogging between the glass, no difficulty opening and closing, just smooth, reliable performance. Stronger, better, more beautiful? That's Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson's BOGO Bonanza is happening now. It's buy one, get one, 50% off all windows, patio doors, or entry doors when you purchase 4 or more. That's right. 50% off with no payments and no interest for 18 months. Call by September 30th. 314-720-9200. 314-720-9200. That's 314-720-9200.
St. Louis, get ready to rock the holiday season with the return of Trans-Siberian Orchestra and the Lost Christmas Eve. KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra on December 18th for one spectacular show at Enterprise Center at 7 p.m. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO. Timeless and everlasting. The rock holiday tradition for the entire family is back. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra's The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation.
I'm Rachel Zimmerman. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Wagner. Not a good dude.
Wagner, bad dude?
Bad dude.
Why was he a bad dude?
Just a really bad dude. Very racist. In fact, this piece has fallen out of favor at a lot of contemporary marriage ceremonies because of Wagner's nefarious deeds.
Because he's a piece of crap, or was?
Well, that's what some say.
Huh. Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Why would he be like that?
I don't know. I used to have a German car, though, and whenever I called Congresswoman Ann Wagner on the phone, I'd have to say, call Ann Wagner.
You did not.
I did, yes.
I love pronouncing it Wagner.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
I've got is this wedding season? When is wedding season? Is it summer or is it fall?
It's all season long. I got married in December.
See, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
In fact, I would prefer
poinsettias everywhere.
You see, I would like that.
Yeah,
I would like a wedding when it's cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to wear a suit. You don't want to wear a suit when it's 95.
So is this an outdoor deal?
It is not. So I've got
Okay.
a wedding, two good friends of mine who are getting married to each other. And this is taking place October 5th.
Oh, just around the corner.
Yeah, I got to go up to Michigan for
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
So I have to officiate this wedding.
Mm-hmm.
John, here's all I know so far. I am ordained by monastery.com.
Nice.
Now what do I do?
Okay.
I don't have any idea because I had a Zoom call with a couple last night.
And they're all excited about to have you.
Yes. And they were like, so what are you thinking? And I'm like, I don't know. What are you thinking? I don't know what to do.
Well, so they do have a wedding planner, you said.
They do have a wedding planner.
That's gonna ease your burden greatly, Raj.
Okay.
So
should I be writing all this down?
Yeah. So when you're gonna have a rehearsal the night before, I assume.
Yes, there's a rehearsal.
Okay, let's start at the rehearsal. And this is all of this was imparted to me by the Reverend Hugh Barlett of the Chesterfield Presbyterian Church, who I met with a week or so ago. At the rehearsal, start at the end. Have everybody lined up, and then recess the couples, the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, and then the bride and the groom. Then start at the end. Then, everybody talk, because you want to run this thing efficiently. You want 35, 40 minutes max on the rehearsal. Then you process them. On the recession, when they recess, the bride and groom get the entire aisle. So they start at the altar, they walk all the way to the back of the facility. The bridesmaids and groomsmen get half an aisle. So once they're halfway down, you release the next one. And then once they're halfway
So I don't
down,
have to do any of that.
you're the one sending them because you're recessing them. The wedding,
like when it's over?
Yeah, the recessional.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The processional is where the wedding planner will be stationed in the back of the facility, and you will cue them. You are the tip of the triangle. It's the wedding planner in the back.
Yeah.
The minister, that would be you, Raj, in the front, and then whoever's doing the music, whether it's live or recorded, that person will be off to the side somewhere. It's a triangle, and you are giving cues to the person in the back to send the bridesmaids and when to send the bride. And then you're giving the cues to the music, when to cut the music from the bridesmaids coming down to the new music they've chosen for the bride and her father. Is she being walked down the aisle by her father?
I don't know.
All right. Well, this is important information.
I don't know. No one's told me anything.
Some decisions that they will need to make. Is she going to be given by her father?
Okay.
If so, then you would ask the question, who gives this woman to be married to this man? That's very traditional.
So I do have an itinerary.
Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah.
This is from the wedding planner.
Yeah.
The bride gets into her dress at 12:30.
All right.
It says that right here.
All right. Good.
Let's see. What is this?
Nothing happens without
There's a
that.
DJ.
Okay. You got a DJ. All
Yeah.
right.
There's a DJ.
Uh-huh.
And then, there's a mother of the groom.
Yep.
Brother of the groom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're all being precessed down the aisle?
I think so.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
a ring bearer.
Right. Are there bridesmaids and groomsmen?
Yes.
Okay.
There are 5 of each.
So 3 decisions to make here.
Uh-oh.
When they post up, the traditional is they're in a straight line. So the bride and the groom, and then their party is out in a straight line.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will see them slanted downward. The problem with that is that the attendants really can't see anything. So a new tendency or a new trend in these things is for the wedding party to form a semicircle facing the bride and groom and facing the audience. Does that make sense? So they would assemble in a semicircle.
So behind me.
You're behind you.
Okay.
That's right.
That's the first thing I've understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is I've seen that. That's really effective, and I think the wedding party will enjoy that as well. Everybody will be able to see them. I mean, presumably they're all very good looking in their finest attire. And is this a formal wedding? Tuxedos and
it is black tie optional.
Oh wow, that's a formal wedding. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Nice. Are you going to be in a tux?
Do I need to be?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell? No one told me that.
Well, I mean, if everybody's out there in their black tie optionals and you're standing there in your Levi's, it's probably not going to go over well.
There's a big gap between Levi's and tux.
Yeah.
Can I wear a dark blue suit?
You can.
With a black tie?
Or a robe. You're probably not going to
A robe
up for it. Yeah.
Why would I wear a robe?
Well, you're ministering the,
No, but it's not like one of those.
Okay. Also at the rehearsal.
Okay.
You'll want to hand out note cards to all the participants, telling them what time to be at the the venue the following day. Because if you don't do that, nobody's listening. They'll be texting the bride and groom all afternoon, and that's just no good for anybody. So have a card, tell them when to get there, how to get dressed, and they need to have that.
I got to do all that?
Maybe the wedding planner, but it's something that needs to be done. Are they going to have a unity candle or some kind of ceremony within the ceremony?
I'm looking. I don't see anything like that.
Okay. I mean, a lot of couples will choose to each take their little candle and go light the unity candle. It's a symbol of the union.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that.
I've also seen the sand ceremony where they take a scoop of one color sand and the other color sand, they dump them into a thing and mix it all together, and then they've got a little memento from the wedding there.
Oh, I like that.
My
part. So the whole part that I'm responsible for is a half hour.
Right. Are they going to have? Are they going to do a question of intent, vows, and a ring ceremony, or are they just going to do the vows and the ring ceremony?
There are going to be vows, though they haven't written vows.
They're right. Let me encourage you to encourage them to keep the vows short.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody wants to sit out there and I've loved you since the moment I laid eyes on you. I mean, that's please spare everybody that. All right. They're making a commitment that they're going to hang in there when times get tough is what they're doing.
Can I roast them?
You can.
Okay.
But it's going to be one of the top 4 days in their lives. So keep that in mind.
Can I work blue?
I'm going to go out on a ladder and assume this is not going to be done in a religious context. This wedding.
No.
So it's not a Christian wedding.
Oh, no. I don't think we're anywhere near a church.
Okay. Well, it doesn't have to be at a church to be a Christian wedding.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything like that.
But you want the message. The reason they chose you is because you know them well.
Yes.
And so they're comfortable that you're not going to do something stupid, which why they're comfortable in that, I can't quite explain.
Great question.
But so what you want to do is you want to share personal anecdotes about them, maybe how they met and how you thought it was never. This is not a best man toast that you're doing. Okay.
Of course.
It's not.
Right.
What you're doing is you're imparting something to them. I would encourage you to think about some visuals. There's a great one, mountain climbers.
Okay.
Mountain climbers they're in a dangerous endeavor, and they are bound together as they go up that mountain.
Yeah.
They're tied together because they're going to go through some stuff. But the best mountain climbers are the ones that have something affixed to a fixed object. They put a spike in the mountain itself. So not only are they tied together, they're tied into a fixed object.
So like a goal. So it's a goal they're trying to reach.
I would say the Lord, but
okay,
that's the point you're trying to make there.
Okay.
And the other one, I'm not going to, because that's the one I'm going to use for Amy, so I'm not going to use that. So
John, by the way, is officiating Amy's wedding whenever that is.
Yeah. And I'm doing my nephew's wedding. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to work in something personal about the two of them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And
so here's what I know.
And you want to say something very affirming about how certain you are that this is a marriage that was meant to be and is going to last.
So I don't want to say anything about how he is a tobacco chewer and used to leave his disgusting spit bottles all over.
And I don't want to say that.
Do I want to say about her that she gets very cranky when she's hungry? Because I've seen that too.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to really think about this.
You're going to want to be very affirming of their love and their relationship. And so, yeah.
Okay. Should I mention the fact that
they're not even going to read scripture at this wedding?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. John,
right. Okay.
John, I don't think these two people have ever seen a Bible.
Okay.
John, I do not want to mention that, or do I, that I have been asked to do this for other friends in the past. And both of
while
those,
you're officiating the wedding.
Yes, I don't want to mention that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But this will be the third time.
It's not about you, Ron.
Okay.
That's the other thing. It's not about you. It's about them.
Right. It's about them.
This is their day.
So I don't want to say
glorious day. Are they gonna do anything special for their parents, like present them with flowers after the ceremony or something like that?
I don't think so.
All right.
I see that Daft Punk is going to play.
Oh, great. Whatever the heck that is.
You don't know who Daft Punk is?
No.
Mr. MTV over here.
Never heard of old Pumpkinhead. So the other this is key too. You got to figure out how you're going to end the thing. Oh, find out how they want to be referred. People, that's very important. It is my pleasure to introduce for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Joe and Sally Smith.
Yeah.
Mr. Joe Smith and Sally Stevens, because she's keeping her last name because it's not a Christian wedding. You got to figure that all out. So make sure you know how they want them to be presented for the first time.
And then I get to I say at one point, okay, now make out.
And now, by the power invested by me, by the mission
monastery.com,
whatever it is, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride, and then you process everybody out, and then figure out how you want to dismiss the assembled. Whether you're going to do row by row, or whether it's a free for all, whether they're going to have a receiving line, or whether they're going to get like rice thrown on them. You got all of that. You got to. But because you have a wedding planner, that's going to be very helpful.
When it's over, would it be appropriate? So the whole thing's over, and I want to get everybody out. Can I say, "Go on now, get"?
Yeah.
Can that be the way I shoot them? Go on, get.
Yeah. Get. Well, once it's over, they can't fire you. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid.
They're not paying you.
No, they've put me up in an Airbnb though, which is right across the street from the place.
Yeah.
Then they informed me yesterday that somebody else is staying with me, which is kind of crap. I thought I was getting it all to myself.
Well, that's all right.
Oh, by the way, Mike's staying with you because he wakes up early. And I'm like, what? Why do I want this guy to be in my area waking up at 5 a.m.?
Music is very important in ceremonies, too, but I'm sure they're all over that.
Yeah, they've got DJs.
I wrote, for my daughter's wedding, I selected even the prelude music, every single piece of music, and then I wrote the music we went down the aisle to.
Okay.
How about that?
Well, let me get some more tips from you off the air. But this is a good start.
I hope it's been helpful for you,
It's a good
Raj.
start. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
John Hancock, Chris Ranji.
Blessings to you there, big boy.
KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
With the new year, it's time to make sure you have the best vision for 2024. That means scheduling your annual eye exam with Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000.
How could they make things even more tempting at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of September? Choose from the area's largest selection of Genesis sedans and SUVs and get 0% financing. Just head to Genesis of St. Charles. Check out the selection and their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom. Once you get behind the wheel of a Genesis, you're going to want one. Take advantage of 0% financing. They're just a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or check out their selection at genesisofstcharles.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
When you bought your home, you took on more than just a house payment. You spend weekends on upkeep, repairs drain your bank account, and with your equity locked up, you can't do anything. You love your home and want to stay, but it's a constant struggle. What if you could sell your home, reclaim your weekends, and not have to move? You can with Truehold's Sell and Stay program. Truehold will buy your home now while the market is high. You can bank all that equity in cash and stay in your home with a lease. Plus, you won't have to worry about property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Join thousands that have secured their retirement, paid off bills, and financed their dreams. Get an offer now while the market is hot. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com or call 855-300-9993. Truehold.com. Truehold.com.
St. Louis City SC invites you to the free City Block Party before City takes on rival Sporting KC. Starting at 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th, come out to the Lou Fuse Plaza at City Park for live music, local food, drinks, games, giveaways, and more. Visit stlcitysc.com for details.
Join the movement to end breast cancer on October 19th. By supporting the American Cancer Society making strides against breast cancer, you're helping save lives through groundbreaking research discovery and patient support. Get info or donate at makingstrideswalk.org/St. Louis Mo.
Hey, it's the Cardinal Cowboy. Life can throw us curveballs, like the car accident that put me in a coma 30 years ago. We all have bumps in the road. Lucky for us, we have Renner to get our garage door back on track. Click RENNER door STL.com today. Giddy up!
I'm Roger Brand, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
The audacity of this man, John Hancock.
What?
To call them the Pearl Jammers. Still
Is that
can't
who
get
that
over
was?
it.
Is that who that
this
was?
You know who this is?
That's well, I've heard that before. That's old.
This is Steve Miller.
Oh yeah.
Can I tell you, this will make people mad. I don't really like the Steve Miller Band.
Really? Huh.
Not really.
Poor guy. He did all right for himself, though.
Oh, yeah, apparently had this song. And you know what I figured I don't like?
What?
I don't like songs where the singer just names a bunch of cities. And he does that. What's that one? I went to Tacoma, whatever that song is. I don't like it.
Well,
Johnny
Lewis
Cash had one of those.
Huey Lewis has got one of those, does he?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think he does.
So we only got a couple of minutes here.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do this. We've got Sean Malone, who is in from
Sean
the
Malone.
KMOX.
Is that
newsroom.
not the name of a quarterback? I mean, it's just
Sean
like
Malone?
Sean Malone. Malone back to pass. Looks over the sunscreen pass. And, I mean, Sean
Yeah,
Malone.
kind of.
Yeah.
It
Sean?
certainly wasn't for me when I was in high school. I was a backup wide receiver.
Oh, I can
Oh,
see
you're
it.
the backup.
I can see
Yeah.
it though.
I was a
That-
better hockey player
got
than
the
football
size,
player.
Got the size.
Did you ever get on the field?
Late in games, that's about it. So
No. Well, my friend played basketball in college, and where I went to school, and he was in what we called the 30-30 club, which he only got into the game if they were up 30 or down 30 with 30 seconds left.
sounds about right.
That's what they call it. So Sean Malone, quickly, because we're finishing the show here momentarily. There were classes canceled at area schools because of threats.
Yeah, Live for Life had to go virtual because of a threat that the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department was looking into. And across the river in Illinois, Cahokia High School locked down and allowed parents to come and pick up their students. And East St. Louis High School also had what they're calling a soft lockdown, where they also allowed parents to come and pick up their students from school as well. And Rittner, I haven't caught up on this yet, but they had some other kind of a threat or a false threat made against them today after just the other day having to arrest a former student of theirs in one of their school district's parking lots with a gun.
And all this is happening after Ladue, the high school there canceled classes. So do we know the nature of the threats? Is it copycat stuff? What exactly is going
It's
on?
hard to say. I can tell that the Live for Life one, it seems serious enough that they went virtual. And the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department is investigating, trying to find the source of the whomever posted the threat originally. And one of the things that's giving them a bit of a hard time with that is it keeps getting screenshot and shared on social media, which is you think that person is the original post who made the threat. And then come to find out when they go and finally talk to this person, it's like, no, I took a screenshot. I saw it from this person.
So I know we got just a few seconds here, but what authorities are asking people to do is to reach out to them instead of posting.
Yes. Not instead of posting, because obviously they still want to spread the word that a threat against this school has been made. They didn't outright say don't post it, but what they said is do call law enforcement as well, so that way they're aware of this threat too, and it helps them kind of just track down where it originated from.
What are the consequences if they catch the person who does this? Is this? I mean, I would think it's a pretty serious offense.
I guess it would depend on how legitimate the threat is, but obviously, if you're thinking that, oh, maybe I can just cancel class for all of us on a nice day like today. Well,
Yeah.
One of the charges you could certainly be facing is making a terrorist threat.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's
some serious stuff.
That is a serious offense.
Sean Malone, appreciate the reporting. I know you're going to have more of it this afternoon, so the folks will want to be listening into KMOX to catch that reporting and any sound that you've gathered from today. Appreciate it. Thanks for stepping in here for a moment.
No problem.
Sean Malone from the KMOX newsroom. That is it for us.
We're done.
John
Well,
Hancock.
we'll be back.
You and me again probably next week, huh? But you're going to be here on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm always here now.
Well, we're going to hang out for a bit with the Dave Glover Show. John Hancock, Chris Ranji. You got KMOX.